Locally for the Carolinas. Come on, this is the Rob Brown Show. Get Rob.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome in. Let's get it. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio and your laptops and your tablets and your PCs and your whatever other digital devices you might be listening to. My sweet, smooth voice on the air from around the world. I am Rob Brown. How do you do, upstate South Carolina? How do you do, America? Great to be with you. Good morning. I hope all is exceptionally well. The great Lonzo will be with us in an hour from now. It's his birthday, but he's not partying. We had a bit of a technical issue downstairs that he got to go take care of this morning. So he is trapped in the box downstairs taking care of more important things than doing this show. But he'll be with us in an hour, amigos and amigettes. In the meantime, you just get to, I'm ever so sorry, hang out with me and me alone. But hey, I'm very glad to be here. Let me start by saying thank you very much to the legendary Cole Bryson for filling in yesterday. CB did a great job on the program. I listened to it in almost its entirety yesterday on my way back from Charlotte, North Carolina, where I went up to watch a little Monday Night Football. And it was great, man. It was phenomenal. Had a great time. I'm going to talk about my experience, talk about the game a little bit as the first hour goes through. But what I would like to happen, ladies and gentlemen, what I very much would like to happen is that at 10 a.m., when the great one gets here, I would love and appreciate it if you guys would just flood the stream, the text line, the airwaves with happy birthday comments and calls and text to the great one. Because he is, ladies and gentlemen, I mean this as sincerely as I've ever meant anything, the single hardest working man in show business. And you'll hear a lot of people refer to themselves and others as that, but I promise you they're not. The great one is. Lonzo is. So when he gets here at 10 a.m. for the back 2 hours of the radio broadcast, I would appreciate it if you guys would pop onto the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, or the Rob Brown Show on Twitch. And just let him know that he's loved. Tell him happy birthday. We appreciate it. We've already got this AM in the chat. Miss Lisa, Lonzo's better half, is in the stream. We have got Miss Raven, the spawn of Zoe, and one of my favorite people, hello, Raven, dropping a happy birthday to the great one, as well as Steven and others. So at 10 a.m. when he gets here, we're just going to overload Lonzo. Because if there is one thing I have learned, y'all, about Lonzo, if there is one thing that I have learned about the great one, it is this. There is nothing he loves more than public displays of affection. Am I right, Miss Lisa? There is nothing he loves more than big hugs and kisses on the cheek and long extended handshakes and everybody in the restaurant screaming, "Hey, that's Lonzo! I know that guy. That's Lonzo from the Fan Upstate." So I would very much like to make it as just affectionate as possible for the great one on the show today. I want to see if we can change his face to match the color of what I'm assuming will be the Ohio State jersey that he has worn in today on his birthday. Was out yesterday, obviously, as I was making my return trip from Charlotte. Went up to Charlotte on Monday for a little Monday Night Football. The Saints get the better of an UGLY, and neither team had no alibi game betwixt the NFC South rivals, Charlotte and New Orleans, the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints. And look, my dudes, it was bad, man. It was bad. It was a boring game. I mean, I was excited because, hey, any NFL game that I get to go to is a good NFL game. Any NFL game that I get to be a part of is a good NFL game. There's just nothing quite like NFL football in person, man. So it was a great experience, but let's be honest. The 60 between the first whistle and the closer was bad. It just was. Now, what's fun about that is I was carousing the old pipes and tubes that make up the internet this morning because I had a thought after that game on Monday. And I thought, the thought I had was this. There was one, and I mean one thing that separated Derek Carr, the victor at quarterback in that game, from Bryce Young, the victim at QB in that game. And this stat is absolutely a stat that makes both of those quarterbacks victims of their teams so far. But it particularly sets Bryce Young aside because of an outside variable. And that is this. I went and I looked at the numbers this morning because I thought to myself, there's got to be something to this. And it turns out there is. The statistic in question, ladies and gentlemen, is protected time in the pocket. That is the time from the millisecond the quarterback in question gets the hands on the football until the time that he is considered pressured. That is a hand within touching distance. The hand within touching distance. Look at Lonzo. Look at the commitment. Look at the dedication. The great one checking in from the downstairs prison he's currently locked in. He will be with us again by the end of this hour, certainly for the beginning of the next one. So here is that statistic that I think is the biggest problem that is stunting the development of one Bryce Young. And I'm going to tell you why this statistic also is impacting Derek Carr, but that Derek Carr has additional help to overcome this statistic. Protected time in the pocket. That is the amount of time between the quarterback getting his hands on the football and when he is considered under pressure. That is a defensive player within a foot or getting a hand on that quarterback. The top 5 quarterbacks in the league in terms of protected time in the pocket are, as they stand right now, Justin Fields, who is getting 2.8 seconds between the time he puts his hands on the football and the time that he is considered under pressure. My dude is getting almost 3 full seconds. Now, if you'd like to know the difference here, let's start with this is 3 seconds of dead air. 3, 2, 1. There, that is 3 seconds of dead air time. Now, it might not feel like a lot, but in quarterback times, 3.8 seconds is a lot. Other top quarterbacks in the league, Matt Stafford is getting 2.7 seconds in the pocket. Would you look at that? Oh my goodness. He's coaching or he's quarterbacking now for a surprisingly decent football team compared to what we thought that they were going to ultimately end up being. Russell Wilson is getting 2.7 seconds in the quarterback Russell Wilson's getting 2.7 seconds in the pocket before he becomes a pressure quarterback. I know there's a lot of heat on Sean Payton right now, and there should be. But when he came out after the Broncos loss in the waning seconds of that game against the Washington Commanders, Sean Payton said, our quarterback's got to play better. And everybody started busting him up. And he also needs to be better, but he was not wrong. 2.7 seconds in the pocket before he gets pressured. Zach Wilson is getting 2.7 seconds unpressured before he goes under pressure. The difference between Zach Wilson and Russell Wilson is expectations. We know Zach Wilson is not a very good quarterback. Russell is supposed to be top flight, top notch. So him being put under that much pressure, there's less of an excuse. And finally, despite the fact that he left the game in the first quarter, he was playing very well until then. Anthony Richardson is getting 2.7 seconds in the pocket before he is under pressure. And AR seems to be developing relatively well. And just so we all know, CJ Stroud, guy who may or may not be mentioned in our TMFINR awards later on in the show, he's getting about 2.5 seconds in the pocket. So when people say, hey, Rob, why is it that Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud seem to be further along in their development 2 weeks into the season, more than Bryce Young is 2 weeks into the exact same season? And the answer is because those cats are getting almost 2 more seconds per snap before they get placed under pressure. Here are the bottom 5 quarterbacks in the league in terms of amount of time before they are considered under pressure. In the bottom 5, 2 seconds per snap is Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, to me, very close to being good. So how do they get there? If they can up that number from like 2.0 to 2.6, 2.7, somewhere around where Justin Fields is. If Trevor Lawrence was getting 2.8 plus seconds unmolested, like Justin Fields is, Trevor Lawrence would be already our front runner for Pro Bowl. All right. Kenny Pickett is getting 1.5 seconds. All right. So we did earlier 3 seconds of dead air. 3 seconds of dead air sounds like this. Bang, that's 3 seconds of dead air. You ready for what 1.5 seconds of dead air sounds like? This is 1.5. 1.5 seconds of dead air sounds like this. That's it. You're under pressure, right? You see how big of a difference that is. It may not seem like the end of the world, but you've got to think when you've got a wide receiver who even the slowest wide receiver, number 1 primary wide receiver in the league, the slowest is running what, a 4.5? That half of a second can mean up to 7 yards of distance traveled for a wide receiver. If you include a cut in there, you are talking enough time for a plant cut and then 2 yards in whichever direction the route is going. That is an enormous amount of time. Kenny Pickett, 1.5 seconds. And then third least time in the pocket before getting under pressure is Bryce Young at 1.4 seconds unmolested. 1.4 seconds unmolested. Do you know how not much time that is? It's not very much at all. Again, 3 seconds and 3. There you go. That's 3 seconds. Now 1.5 seconds. That's it right there. You see how much time that is? The difference between 3 seconds and 1.5 seconds with a wide receiver running full boat down the field is about, 10 yards, 8 to 10 yards of travel time for a wide receiver, right? It doesn't feel like much. I promise you, if you want to know somebody who absolutely feels the difference, talk to my programming director right now who hears me allowing 3 seconds of dead air, and he might kick that door down and come beat me in behind this desk, right? That's how long 3 seconds is. Now, Derek Carr is the second least quarterback, or a second quarterback provided with the least amount of time between receiving the ball from the center and going under pressure at 1.2 seconds. So he is actually behind Bryce Young. He is getting less time before being pressured than Bryce Young is. But there is a massive difference between Derek Carr and Bryce Young, and it is the reason that Derek Carr is 2-0 Despite playing, by the way, two very good defensive lines. Tennessee's defensive line is very good. Carolina's defensive line is very good. Now, so is New Orleans, and so is Atlanta's. So BY's under similar situations. He's played two very good D lines and has been provided the third fewest seconds in the pocket to throw the football. So, what's the difference between Derek Carr and Bryce Young? It's very simple. While Derek Carr is getting 1.2 seconds per snap before he's being pressured, and while Bryce Young is getting 1.4 seconds per pressure, the difference is Derek Carr has wide receivers who can separate. That's it. James popped into the chat, which is the stream chat. He popped into the strat and said vanilla play calling and wide receivers who can't separate. That wide receiver thing, James, is bigger than you know. It's bigger than that. It's been talked about. See, because while Derek Carr is getting less time in the pocket, what does he have? He has Chris Olave. He has a wide receiver, the young man out of the Ohio State University, who has proved that if he gets 1.2 seconds, he can separate. And Olave has been huge for Derek Carr. Those plays that Chris Olave has been picking up 8, 12, 16 in a first here and there, those are panic throws from Derek Carr. It's just that that's the spot. He has got a wide receiver that can separate. Carolina does not have that guy. DJ Chark is not that guy, unfortunately. Laviska Shenault, unfortunately, not that guy. And it might be because of the injuries. It might be because of the history. And it might be just because with no primary wide receiver, with no, James Perez says in the strat, with no DJ Moore available, they don't have a number one. So what does that mean? It means whichever wide receiver is the one most capable of generating separation from DBs, I'm just shading defenses that way, right? I'm just shading defenses that way. If it is DJ Chark, I'm shading that way. If it's Laviska Shenault, I'm shading that way. If it's a combination of the two of them, then I'm just going to shadow with either a Tampa 2 or a high cover 1 and say, press up on the line, right? Because Bryce Young's only getting 1.4 seconds before we get pressure on the guy. Press up on the line. I want you to bump that wide receiver at the line and eat up half of that 1.4 seconds. And once you eat up half of that 1.4 seconds, BY's not going to have time to look down the field and find if Chark or Shenault can create separation to find that guy. To then find that guy, set the base, throw an accurate pass at one of them. He's going to have to take whatever the easiest throw is, and as James just said, that's Adam Thielen, which is why he's going to have 200 catches on the year. But the other aspect of this is that offensive line for Carolina. And we know Brady Christensen's out. He's on the IL. He's done for the year. He had a torn biceps back in week 1. That's a heavy blow. That's a heavy blow. Brady at left guard had been one of the more consistent blockers for that offensive line. That's a hefty blow for the offensive line of the Carolina Panthers. But the other part of it is also off of the left side, and that is Ike Ekwonu. Ike Ekwonu went through his growing pains last year, and I thought we were done. First, 6, 7 games of last year? Ike Ekwonu was bad. He was bad, but he was also a rook. He was also a first-year player. He was a guy we looked at and went, it's gonna be growing pains. There's no doubt it's going to be growing pains, and you've got to let him go through those growing pains. And if you don't let him go through those growing pains, it's going to be a problem. But he went through the growing pains. And in the second half of the year, Ike Ekwonu was one of the more efficient left tackles in the National Football League. Not standout, not great, not a Pro Bowler, but he was efficient. You weren't getting a lot of pressure off that edge. And for whatever reason, he has reverted this year. He has regressed this year. He has taken a step back, and now left side offensive line is a problem, and right side defensive ends are getting a lot of pressure. That's it. So not only is BY being pressured, but he's being pressured from the blind side. Now, we saw him against New Orleans tuck and run a couple of times, and that's fine. But he's not Anthony Richardson. He's not CJ Stroud. He's not Michael Vick. He's not a guy that you can or want to or freaking ever should lean on to carry your football team with his legs. Can they be utilized? Yeah, of course. Of course, he's small, he's quick, and he's smart. He has gotten down, right? He's not doing what Anthony Richardson did and taking a bunch of contact at the goal line and getting his bell rung on the floor of the dome and having to go sit with a concussion. He's running smart. He realizes when he's going to get popped, and he goes to the turf, and I appreciate that. But I can't rely on BY to use his legs as his number one. That needs to be emergencies only, right? Those legs need to be that big slide on the back of the airplane. Like it's there. We know it can be used, but let's be real. Just because you're in a hurry to get off the plane doesn't mean we pull that red handle and open that emergency slide. We only use that when there's a, emergency. And that's what BY needs to be doing with the legs. It's there in case of an emergency, but we're not using them just because you're in a hurry. Problem is, he's in a hurry all the time because of that offensive line. And until they get that fixed, the development of Bryce Young is inevitably going to continue to be slow. James says that NC State offensive line is terrible. I think the Panthers made a mistake trading for the number one pick. Look, it is going to take time for BY, James, to get to truly show us if he was the guy that Carolina thought he was. It is going to take time for that to happen. But for him to get there, he needs time. And I mean in the pocket, he needs time. I can't put the slow development of Bryce Young in comparison to CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. I can't put that entirely on BY or the coaching staff. I can put it on the coaching staff in that they did not get this offensive line more prepared, more ready, more quickly. But if BY is going to get beat up in the backfield like that, the hell, what do you expect, right? I stick Michael Vick back there, but if he's getting less than a second and a half to generate anything, of course he's going to struggle. All right, we got to take a break. We'll talk more about that on the backside. We'll talk more about that game on the backside. In hour number 2, we're going to hand out our TMFINR awards, our All That You Know What Is Not Real award. I'm also going to give you the Robby remix. I've changed the name. It was Robby Rankings last week. It's the Robby remix this week. I'm going to take the AP Top 10, and I'm going to remix them into the correct order for you. We'll do all of that and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Fan Upstate. All right, you guys stay right there. I got to do a live read even though Lonzo's not here. I'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out. I'm back. Had to promote things. Brandon, I am not here solo today. Lonzo is downstairs. He had to help out with another project, but he will be up here in hopefully just mere minutes, certainly by the end of the hour, and then we'll go back to our normal programming. In the meantime, here I am. Because, some people, ladies and gentlemen, some people know what the hell they're doing. That's me. That's me. Bears are trying to get back-to-back number one picks with the Panthers. That's right. That's right. I mean, as of right now, Carolina's going to be lined up for a number one pick, man, or a top 10 pick. So is Chicago. That's incredible. Like I said, I don't know if it's a mistake, James. I don't know if it's a mistake. I don't think BY is getting the opportunity to learn. Like CJ Stroud is getting over a second more time to set up, to look, to read progressions, and to get rid of the football. And again, that is 10 yards of wide receiver travel time. Almost. It's like 9 yards if you do the math, but I hate math, so I'm not going to. So I think it's probably too early at this point to say for sure that is the case. But we'll see. We'll see how the development goes. Like I said, it's all about development right now. If and I said this before the season started. If there are any Panther fans who committed themselves to playoffs or bust this year, I don't care that you're in a crap division, right? And oh, by the way, a division that is overall 6-2 and both L's belong to the Carolina Panthers, right? Atlanta's 2-0, Tampa's 2-0, New Orleans 2-0. So I think that even though it's still not a good division, right? Like I don't need NFC South fans to be all up in my business right now, telling me, oh, this team, like this team's for real, this team's on the way, whatever. Like, calm down. No, not yet. This division's still bad. Excuse me, the division, not the team. But if you convinced yourself, that this team is ready to compete in the division, that's on you, kind of, right? I'm actually going to bring that up here in just a minute. We'll talk more about it here. Y'all keep the chat active, man. We're trying to grow the show. I need more of you in here. The Rob Brown Show continues now, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. The great Malonzo will be along with us here in just mere minutes, my friends. But we are talking a little Carolina Panther football after the defeat this Monday evening at the hands of the New Orleans Saints. My New Orleans Saints, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my New Orleans Saints. What a dub. Ugly as hell. Ugly as sin, but a dub nonetheless. Look, let me, we just had Daddy-O pop in the chat. He said, is this the come to Jesus week for Alabama? I'm glad you asked, Daddy-O, because we're going to talk about that later in the show. Don't go anywhere, because yes, we need to discuss not just Bama, we need to discuss Georgia as well. So we're going to do that coming up later on in the show. But I want to finish up these thoughts about the Carolina Panthers real quick. And I want to start them by saying, first and foremost, that I think one thing took place this offseason that I cautioned you all about, okay? If you are a Carolina Panther fan and you talked yourself into the belief that the Panthers are ready for the playoffs, well, my dudes and dudettes, you did it to yourself, bro. You did it to yourself. I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you it ain't that time yet. And I understand that the NFC South was labeled one of the worst divisions in football. this year. And I'm here to tell you, there are some people who are being fooled today because they're looking at this division and they're going, Rob, this division is 6-2 overall. And both of those losses belong to one team, the Carolina Panthers, who are 0-2. All three of the other teams, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans, are all 2-0. And I understand that. And I think in looking at that, some people are getting tricked into thinking that this division is better than it is and is better than it's going to be. And I would caution you, remember, when we talk about this, my team is also in this division. But the difference between me and a lot of rabble-rousing Panthers fans right now is that I didn't talk myself into the opposite being true. I knew this division was going to be trash. Now, Tampa Bay through week 2 is a very, very pleasant surprise at this point. Tampa Bay so far is a very pleasant surprise. They got a win this past weekend over the Chicago Bears, though I would like to point out that game against the Chicago Bears came against one of the worst teams in the entire National Football League. The Bears stink, all right? By the way, that word has made its way back up into my repertoire, and I'm a big fan. The Bears stink, all right? They stink. And then back in week 1, the Buccaneers beat the Minnesota Vikings. Now, that is actually the more impressive win, I think, right now. That is the more impressive win. Baker Mayfield went 21-34 for $173 and 2 touches. Kirk Cousins did go for 344 too, and a pick in that one. But that was a game where Tampa took the lead in the first quarter. It was 10-10 at the half. And then Tampa just out-grinded the Vikings down the stretch. Tampa is surprisingly better than we thought they would be, but I'm not ready to say that they're good yet. New Orleans is 2-0. Now, that win over Tennessee, I think, again, a lot of people got tricked because a lot of people thought, Mike Vrabel doesn't like to lose. Therefore, that's not how it works. I need you to know there's not an NFL coach that likes to lose. He does his best work backed into a corner. Yeah, a lot of coaches do that. I like Mike Vrabel. I like a dude that said I would cut my own junk off for a Super Bowl win. I mean, it's weird. You're a weird guy, Mike Vrabel, but I hang out with weird people predominantly, so I'm not mad about it. But that Tennessee team behind Ryan Tannehill is just not there yet, all right? They got a really good defensive line. And any team with Derrick Henry should be able to run themselves into the playoffs. But you go back to that Saints-Vikings game back in week 1, and I'm going to be real with you, they just forgot they had Derrick Henry on the team. The Saints won that game 16-15. Derrick Henry had 15 carries for 63 yards. Now, a part of that is Derrick Henry has injury problems. And Vrabel said during the offseason, our goal is to run him a lot, but not run him till the wheels fall off, right? So I think they were kind of feeling him out at that point. But the Saints won that game. They won that game 16-15. It was another ugly game for New Orleans, and maybe that's just going to be their legacy. Maybe New Orleans is going to win this division and have a 12-5, 11-6 record, but all 11 of them are just going to be the ugliest one possession, one field goal, 1 point wins, right? But I think the point is there's a lot of people looking at a 6-2 record for the NFC South and convincing themselves, maybe this division's not that bad. Maybe this division's better than we think. It's not, dude. It's still not a good division. But Carolina fans, I think, took the NFC South as a bad division, and then we got the first overall quarterback drafted and went, therefore, we can win the division. Now, I'm not saying that's impossible, but I am saying it was always improbable. Having a number one overall quarterback guarantees you jack bleep. Nothing at all. We have seen some that have come in and been very good in one divisions, and we've seen others who stunk their first year. Peyton Manning has, if I recall correctly off the top of my head, the record for the most INTs thrown by a rook in his first year. He worked out okay for the Colts, but it took a little while to really build around him and get going, right? So I think Panthers fans who looked at this team, who looked at this division, and who said, this is it, this is our playoff run, yeah, you were mistaken. And I tried to talk you off of that at the beginning of the season. And I got told, oh, Rob, you're just being a Saints fan. You're just being a homer. No, it's not. No, I'm not. It turns out I know what the hell I'm talking about. Bryce Young, the jury is out. I am not going to sit here and say he's a failed pick, and I'm not going to sit here and say I guarantee success. The answer is I don't know, and I don't think he's being provided with the opportunity to find out. Because at less than a second and a half in the pocket before he faces pressure on average, that's not enough time for most quarterbacks to get it together and get rid of the football. By the way, just for funsies, we also had that Monday night game between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and you'll remember that everybody started talking about Deshaun Watson and how bad he's looked. You know how much time Deshaun Watson's getting in the pocket right now? 1.1 second. 1.1. That is this much time. Ready and go. That's it. The football's got to be out, right? That's how much time he's getting. You see what I'm saying? Even a great quarterback, because Deshaun Watson, bad guy, great quarterback. Separating the art from the artist, Deshaun Watson is not a guy I support in my day-to-day life, but I have to acknowledge he's a phenomenal quarterback, right? And as a phenomenal quarterback, the guy we saw in Houston has not made his arrival yet, but it's not entirely on him. It's on the fact that he has 1 second to throw the football. How many of you can make any decision in 1 second? Ready? Chocolate or mint chocolate chip, go. That's it. Did you make your mind up? Did you make your mind up and figure it out and say it? Or did you have time to execute that decision, to think about the pros and cons of why you're taking chocolate chip or mint chocolate chip? Or whatever two ice cream flavors you want. It's the fastest I could come up with because I had less than a second to come up with a hypothetical, and that was the crap hypothetical I came up with. You understand? So if I gave you this much time, ready, go, done. If I gave you that much time to evaluate a situation, weigh the pros and cons of a decision, and execute that decision, it is hard enough for you to think of and then say your favorite flavor of ice cream. Deshaun and BY and Derek Carr are having to go 1 receiver, 2 receiver, 3 receiver. That's the right guy. And get the ball out. Not just pick, but then get the ball out before they're under pressure. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? So you asked a rookie to come into a team that is slam in the middle of a rebuilding process. You asked him to learn the game, to learn the speed game, to learn the speed of the game, to make great decisions and to execute those throws. And oh, by the way, you are providing him less time in the pocket to do so than all but 3 other National Football League teams. And oh, by the way, at least with those 3 other teams, they are providing those quarterbacks. They are providing those quarterbacks with talent. They are providing those quarterbacks with wide receivers who can create separation. They are providing those quarterbacks with weapons that Bryce Young just does not have. So if you're a Panthers fan and you talked yourself into the inane belief that the Carolina Panthers were going to be a playoff team this year, that's on you, because I told you they wouldn't be. Even if the offensive line was the best in the league right now, they're still not there. There is still roster building to be done. There is still learning time to be accomplished. There is still a lot going on that Carolina has to get fixed before they're ready. And that game against New Orleans put that on full display. All right, we're going to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, hey, he's here, the great one, everybody. Lonzo's going to join us, and we'll talk about this. We'll get his thoughts on that Monday game. I know that Lonzo was here yesterday and did a whole show without me and probably had plenty of thoughts about this game, but I didn't get to hear him. So when we come back, he and I will have the discussion. And hour number 2, our TMFI and our awards of the week. I got a lot of them to hand out. I'm also going to give you the Robby remix. We're going to take a look at the AP Top 10, and then I will readjust those so that you can know who the actual best teams in America are. All that and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show. My name is Rob Brown. The great one Lonzo joins us next on the Fan Upstate. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to tell you a There, now you all got to see how the magic happens of setting up the studio with that beautiful television set back there. All right.
Yeah, I heard that song when I walked in my head. Trust me. You know, I believe it was Hootie and the Blowfish who sang, "I Only Want to Be With You." I'm talking about the listeners, not Rob.
Where there's nothing I can do.
Although the show that I was recording, they talk some football.
Did they now? Did they invite the great one to get in on that discussion?
No.
Why?
Oh, well, I did talk to them afterwards, though. So.
Well, I'm covered up in blue. I only want to be with you.
Why is he covered up in blue? Are you sure that's the right lyric?
Nope,
Sure
not anymore.
Tangled up in blue, maybe? Tangled up in blue. Oh my God, you're deaf, dude.
It. I'm not counting that one. I'm not counting that one.
I'm not okay. I won't count it either because you're discombobulated. You're whatever that is.
And you were right. It is. I'm tangled up in blue.
I
only want to be with you.
It's a reference to a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah, I got it now.
I know that because I'm old. So I mean.
And then literally the next line, he says, "Put on a little Dylan." So like shoulda. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show is now back to normal, friends. It is now back to normal.
I don't know about normal, but yeah.
It is now back to normal as it's ever gonna be. So we're good. The great one's here. Hey, happy birthday, Lonzo.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be slightly older?
Well, if the day is an indication of how the year is going to be, it's going to be busy and it's going to be out of control. So, I mean, there's that.
But I would like to point out that when things go wrong at the Radio Ranch, who do they go to get them right?
Yeah, but as I get older, someday it won't be me. It's going to be the next line. But I can tell you that the future looks pretty good. We got some people in here that I have every confidence that someday will be able to take my place. Just not yet.
Oh, thanks, man.
Just not yet.
Oh.
I spent, the majority of the time having to take care of something, having an article of clothing on backwards.
All right, so I wasn't going to bring it up.
No. It goes with the day. It absolutely does. I
was going to let it be. The great one bounced up into the studio a few minutes ago, and he walked in with the he's got first off, he's got the quarter zip today, which if you know me, big quarter zip guy. All right. Quarter zip is an elite caliber of clothing. It's like hoodie and then like 1B is quarter zip as the top two. Cause the quarter zip is like a hoodie dressed up, right? Like where you're going, it's a little bit more formal than hoodie. You can go quarter zip and it's all the comfort and reliability of the hoodie, but it's juiced up just a little bit. A and B, you don't have the hood rolling around on the back of the neck. But Zoe walks in, and the first thought I had was Zoe is brilliant because, when you stream, unless you fix the settings on the stream, the camera mirrors everything. So anything that's got words on it, they're backwards. And I thought, they must have been streaming on a mirrored camera, and Lonzo rocked the quarter zip inside out so that the WORD logo and the Lonzo on the other breast lapel were actually correct in the stream. What a 5D chess move from the great one to go inside out quarter zip so the logo and the name are the right way on a mirrored stream. And I was giving him all that credit, and Lonzo goes, nope, I just put it on backwards.
Yeah, so 45 minutes into the program that I was recording, I looked down, I was like, man, that looks weird. Why is that on the, oh no. And so I thought about, I'll take a picture and show people how stupid I am. speaking is definitely hard. So, but I'm having to use the reverse camera. The problem with that is it reverses it. So, so taking the camera, it looks like I'm wearing it right. So I couldn't figure out how to make it look like I was wearing it wrong leaf though. But I did spend some extra time
I would
after.
like to point out, I gave you the out.
No, I appreciate it.
And you're just owning it.
No. I get told I have to do some other stuff. Can't be on the show, which I really wanted to be. And then there was a major pile up on 385, and then I looked down and see that my I'm not gonna call it a quarter zip. I guess I have to because I don't know what else to call it.
Because that's what it's called.
Okay, all right. It just sounds so preppy.
Whatever you want. You are slowly becoming one of us. Great.
No, you know what those are good for? People with long hair. People with long hair, hoodies don't work. But the quarter zip does. It absolutely does. So I spent the last couple of minutes. I would have been up here talking with someone. The guys at County Bank Mortgage, who I had to record the program, talking about Clemson, Florida State. And one of them, big time Clemson fan. And he said the same thing that I said on the air yesterday is I wondered, was Florida State looking ahead? That's why they struggled last week.
Maybe.
Or does Clemson have a chance? I don't know.
We're going to talk about that. Probably a lot this week, if I had to guess.
I can't wait. Hey, look at that. It's almost break time. Feels like I just got here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's do that. Let's run to a break. And when we come back, it is time to say, and I didn't push the button the right way. That's okay. When we come back here in just a little bit.
Listen, you were busy because, my disarray is your disarray.
Yeah,
so
I'm blaming you.
It's,
We're so disarray, Lonzo wears his clothes inside out. All right. When we come back, it's time to ask.
Unless I was doing crisscross. But was that backwards or that was just, no, that was reversed.
No, it was reversed. Yeah. You got to go name on the front is what you got to do for a little crisscross, make you.
Well, my pants could be on backwards too. I'll have to check during the break.
I feel like that one would have been a little more obvious for you, but I could be wrong. When we come back, it is time to say, are you kidding me? All right, well, that bleep is not real. We're going to hand out the TMFINR awards, and we'll do that next on the Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Fan Upstate. All right. Let's get that working because I kind of need that.
By the way, I just want to say I'm working cloth short. I'm wearing cloth shorts. I could be working them too. So they could be on backwards. They don't have a zipper. I mean, the drawstring is in the front though, so I'm good. I think.
Can you put me in queue?
I did. That would be you in queue. I realized that you sent me something but that's for Tuesday. It's not for today, right? The intro for something, and I never put it in.
Which one was it that I sent you?
It was last week. So, but
yes, I did send it to you, but now I'm blanking on what it was.
Okay, good. So
you're gonna make me look.
So you probably don't need it now. There was an intro, but you said,
was it here so we can just use it today?
No, because I don't have it in right now, and I'd have to go to another room to do it because I'm gonna blame Diesel on that. I don't know.
Oh, it was overreaction to make sense.
Yeah,
which we can't do today because I didn't put any together, and I'm
okay. Cool. Me neither.
So we'll do that tomorrow.
So I got a week. Yeah,
we'll do that tomorrow.
Oh no, tomorrow. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll have it in there tomorrow. Really, I will. It's not good when I get downstairs and the boss is down there because I wasn't down there quick enough.
Daddy said I always feel superior in a quarter zip. Dude, it is the best.
I got to tell you, I do like the look.
Yes.
I do. Yeah, but I like the look because my name's on it. And I didn't pay for it. So that makes it even better, and it's some sweet clothes. I wish we could get some of that over here, but
you know what? I'm going to ask for quarter zips after the show's over.
No, you do that. It might work. It might. Those are the first ones. I've been at Word for 23 and a half years. Those are the first ones I've seen. Although we did have some sweet jackets at one time. Mine's like a 5X. I put it on every once in a while to go, okay, I know I put on weight, but I haven't put on this much weight. And I might need a tent someday, and so I'm keeping it.
A tent?
Yes. And it's an old logo, so I couldn't wear it anywhere anyway. So the guy who retired, who used to be on here, Greg McKinney, he posted on my timeline pictures of us when we were here, including with Charlotte Flair. Man, that's what I used to look like before I put on weight. Oh, I want to get there again. No, it's a good motivation. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I was doing the show Saturday, and they played a clip from last summer when I had lost all that weight, and I just I look so much better when I don't have jowls. Like even with the beard, when the beard goes straight down and then cuts in, because I had a jaw instead of rounding itself out.
These are things that old people talk about. Also, the people I was in the room with, same age as me. I don't recall the last time I was in a room with people the same age as me. And I don't know if they were being nice, but they thought I was turning 32. So, I mean, there was shock faces when I said age, and they're like, oh, I'm turning this age in 6 months.
Steven, you monster.
No, Steven, I got to say, I don't. How many hours is it going to take me before I get comfortable again? Oh, you dummy. Yeah, yeah. Well, the ID play before something else. I mean, we're not going yet. We're still a minute early. All right, I'm good now. I'm good.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm good now.
It's going to take some time. All right, put in the chat right now, who is your TMF INR award winner of the week? Who do you think had the most unreal performance of the weekend in college or professional football or baseball, if you want to go that direction?
Wait, they still play baseball?
They sure do.
That should be over when football
The
season
Atlanta
starts.
Braves with a 9-3 win because Ronald Acuna hit 2 dingers and stole a base last night. He is the 4th player, I believe, in the last decade to hit 2.
Do you rest people in baseball when you already have the playoffs sewn up?
You can, but the problem is, how long can you rest the guy before he starts to lose the timing and the chemistry that he's built up? So it's a very big. It's actually more risk in baseball than I think it's in football.
Come on, man.
That's serious.
No. I'm talking about the digits. Come on, dude. Come on.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hour numero dos of the Rob Brown Show starts now. This is the Fan Upstate. Once again, want to thank the legendary, if you ask him, Cole Bryson, for sitting in yesterday. Did a phenomenal job. I actually listened, great one, to about 2.5 hours of the show.
He was all right.
I think he did fine.
Yeah, okay.
Listen to about 2.5 hours of the show on the drive back from Charlotte. I did make a stop, finally, at Kings Mountain Military Park, the site of the Battle of Kings Mountain, which, if you are a history dork at all, make a day out of. It's right on the North Carolina-South Carolina border. As a matter of fact, you get off of the interstate in South Carolina. You drive into North Carolina and then back into South Carolina to get to Kings Mountain Military Park, which is an incredible place. Site of the largest battle of the Revolutionary War, fought almost exclusively between Americans. As a matter of fact, both sides predominantly made up of Carolinian Tories and Whigs. And then, of course, on the Whig side, that is the revolutionary side, the side of freedom and independence and whatnot, you had the over the mountain men from Georgia, from Tennessee, that came down. squared off. You had a British force that was trying to meet up with the left flank of Cornwallis, who was preparing himself to march on Charlotte. They were protecting the left flank and believed that they had not only superior forces, but by taking the top of Kings Mountain, they would have an impenetrable position. Turns out the over-the-mountain men had absolutely zero desire to let them have it. 3 charges uphill repelled by gunfire and bayonet before the over-the-mountain men were finally able to take the hill and take the day and drive Major Ferguson back towards Cornwallis. Of course, he would be killed while trying to break the American lines in an escape effort. The site of an incredible battle. I had just an incredible experience there. And then it's not too far from Cowpens either. Not too far from Cowpens, another incredible spot. The only triple pincer maneuver successfully completed by Americans through that point in history. And in fact, if I recall correctly, it's one of only like 3 that were ever successfully pulled off in battle happened at Cowpens. It's another incredible place. So get up there, check those places out. If you're a history fan like I am, you will not be disappointed. Now, back to the s'more.
Did you guys notice how he stepped up his game when the flute started playing?
How could I not?
I mean,
How could I not, man?
I got to get We the People. We the People.
That's a good old school reference.
Make sure I don't smack myself again like that. That's bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to hand out some trophies. It is time to say about various athletes across college, professional football, and baseball.
That is not real.
As we hand out this week's TMF INR awards, I am looking for yours. Who is the athlete, the football player, the baseball player that had the best, the most unreal performance of the weekend? I've got a lot of them. Great one. And I want to see, I am going to do it differently this week. I am going to provide you with this week's TMFINR nominees. And then I'm going to allow Lonzo to tell us which of these players is not real.
Well, I'm honored to be here and cannot wait to participate in this fine program.
I'm very glad.
Sorry, this award-winning program.
There's a lot of pressure on you. Here, great one.
Shoulders big. I'm good. Let's do it.
Then let us begin with the young man out of LSU, a guy that I told you was a dude that you are going to want to keep an eye on. That is Jaden Daniels. The Tigers went to Mississippi State and took on the Bulldogs, a team that I was once again told is ready to take it to the next level. Well, they didn't. Not just didn't, they couldn't, because LSU stepped on the throats of the Bulldogs with a hobnailed boot, as the old saying used to kind of sort of go. 41-14, and in that game,
wait.
Daniels,
hold on. I'm sorry, because I got to make up for time. So a hobnail boot is not going to hurt any more than any other boot if you're stepping on something. It's only if you kick something, right? Because the hobnail it's like that. It's for.
Look,
am I wrong? I just want you to be accurate. That's all.
All I know is Larry Munson one time said about a Tennessee football player getting smushed. A Georgia player stepped on his throat with a hobnail boot, and that's just
I thought hobnails have the point.
I don't even know what the hell a hobnail is.
All right, continue.
I don't know what a hobnail boot is. I don't know how they work. I just know that Larry Munson said that if you get trucked, you got your throat stepped on with a hobnail boot, and now that's college football.
I think like either Xavier or Kofi wear hobnails.
No idea. Here's what I do know. Jaden Daniels in that game went 30 of 34 for 361 and 2 touchdowns. Oh, and by the way.
All right, I'm wrong, by the way. A hobnail boot is basically boots, cleated boots. So that would be very painful.
So that works.
No, you're absolutely right. They actually had nails.
Larry Munson was right.
No, okay, all right. We'll give him credit. I wanted to give you credit, but yeah. That I've been stepped on by. You know what? It's more like track cleats, and they're not cleats. Track shoes. Have you ever seen track shoes with the metal spikes?
The baby spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except these are look like they're about a half-inch long.
So do not step on anyone's throat with a hobnail boot unless you're Jaden Daniels, 30 of 34, 361, 2 touchdowns. Also ran 15 times for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels.
That is not real.
How about Ohio State's quarterback, Kyle McCord? Now, didn't have to throw the ball a lot. Ohio State went big this weekend. 19 of 23, though, high efficiency delivering the football, through for 318 and 3 touchdowns.
Why is he on here?
Should he not be? 63-10 winners over Western Kentucky.
Yeah, because they play Western Kentucky, man. I mean, if you're doing that to like Penn State or something, I'm just so anyway.
So
you can
Jaden
see,
Daniels gets the sounder. Does Kyle McCord get the sounder?
For you, apparently.
No, I'm
but,
asking you. It's your quarterback.
No.
No sounder for Kyle McCord, 19 of 23, 318, and 3 touchdowns. How about this one? Michael Penix Jr. leading his Washington Huskies 41-7 winners over Michigan State. Now there's a little turmoil going on with Sparty right now, but Penix Jr., 27 of 35, 473 yards and 4 touchdowns in that performance. I'm not asking Lonzo, I'm telling Lonzo. Michael Penix Jr.
That is not real.
Gets the sounder, without a doubt. Here's one I'll leave up for you, Lonzo. Sam Hartman is quarterbacking the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, I am putting Sam Hartman on this list because, yes, he had another good day for Notre Dame. In this game, Sam Hartman threw for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns on 16 of 26, but it was against the Chippewas of Central Michigan. Not exactly the most dominant, but I'm adding Sam Hartman because of the season stats. The Irish have played 4 games so far. Sam Hartman has on the year a 3-0 record. He has thrown for 1,061 yards, meaning he's averaging over 250 yards a game. He has thrown for 13 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in 4 games. Lonzo, does Sam Hartman get the sounder?
Yeah, I give it to him.
That is not real.
I like it. I think you got to go. I am giving one that I'm not asking. I am telling you. Trevor Etienne channeled Travis this weekend with the mighty Gators of Florida stomped on Tennessee. Hey, speaking of Tennessee, there's Larry Munson right there. 29-16 was your final. And we had some decent performances from position players on both sides of the football field. Joe Milton, 20 of 34 for 287 and 2 touches. Graham Mertz, 19 of 24, $166 and a touch. But this game was Trevor Etienne, 23 carries, 172 yards. He averaged 7.5 yards per carry and was credited with a touchdown. Trevor Etienne.
That is not real.
No, he's not. He is something else. Here's one that I'm curious about, Lonzo. This is one I think could go either way. The Missouri Tigers upset Kansas State at home this weekend. They had a 61-yard walk-off field goal as time expired to down the Wildcats. And in that game, the QB of the Mizzou Tigers, who, by the way, does anyone know his name? Anybody? Anybody in the chat? Do you know the name of the starting quarterback of the Mizzou Tigers who just downed a top 15 team at home? I bet you don't.
I'm going to go with Johnson.
Incorrect. It is Brady Cook. In this game, Lonzo, Brady Cook went 23 of 35 for 356 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is he getting the sounder with a top 15 upset?
Yeah, he's probably not going to get that a lot, so you might as well go ahead.
That is not real.
I am going to agree entirely. Here's a guy who is looking for his TMFNIR. Wait, TMF.
So that's a lot of letters. I mean, you got to shorten that or something.
Yeah, TMFINR. I can't shorten it any more than that. Shador Sanders.
Come on, hit it.
That is not real.
Shador Sanders, 38 of 47, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, which, by the way, was an NHF because we love to abbreviate things on this show.
He's probably still tired.
He's got to be.
That was a long game.
Got to be. Oh, and by the way, he went 38 of 47 for 4 touchdowns and 1 pick without Travis, without his boy. No question, Shador, the first two-time winner of the
That is not real.
award. Dylan Gabriel is the quarterback for Oklahoma. The Boomer Sooners are getting some stuff done this year. Not only are they ranked once again, Lonzo, but they had a 66-pointer this weekend against Tulsa. 28 of those came in the first quarter. 28 important because that is also how many passes Dylan Gabriel completed. 28 of 31, 421, and 5 touchdowns on the season for Dylan Gabriel. I feel like we got to agree he gets it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That is not real.
What a performance. Here's one that I'm up in the air about, okay? Drake May in North Carolina welcomed a Big Ten team down. The Golden Gophers of Minnesota came down to Chapel Hill and took on the Carolina Tar Heels. Now, this is not a great Minnesota team, but it is a Minnesota team that beat Nebraska. Drake May, 29 of 40 for 414 and 2 touches, but he also had 2 picks against PJ Flex boys. I'm going to let this be a stream chat vote along with the great one. Drake May, 29 of 40, 414, 2 touches, and 2 picks. Is Drake May catching a TMFINR award?
all right, the picks is a problem.
2 of them.
Yeah, the picks are did those lead to points? That's even worse.
I do not recall, because I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't watch that game. It was on during Bet for the Cycle, and I was like,
yeah, you were working, so
Yeah.
I mean, you have an excuse.
So I will let you guys in the stream chat and Lonzo decide. Drake May, 29 of 40, 414, 2 touches, 2 picks. Does he get an award this week?
I say no because of the picks.
Okay. I'm not mad about it.
I mean, it could have been, that the ball bounced off the pads of his receivers, but I don't know that. So I'm going to go with no. 2. It's too much.
All right. I'm good with it. Let's switch it to the NFL. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And take a look at some TMFINR award winners from the NFL. And let us go back to last Thursday night. The Philadelphia Eagles ended up winning a 34-28 contest with the Minnesota Vikings in a game that was very close. Part of the reason it was close, Kirk Cousins, Lonzo, 31 of 44 for 364 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. I feel like he's catching a TMFINR, right?
Yes.
They did lose, but it was not because of Kirk Cousins. Why?
That is not real.
Because he's not my dudes. But he could not have done it. And here's where I'll let Lonzo tell me if he catches a sounder or not without Justin Jefferson. 11 snags, 159 yards in a losing effort. Is JJ alongside his QB catching a TMFINR?
How many drops did he have?
I think 1. So 11 grabs on 12 targets for $159.
Yeah, that's too many drops.
1? 1 is too many out of a dozen?
That's too many. You went there to do what? To catch balls, and you're not doing it. I'm so disappointed. No, he gets 1. Do
That
it.
is not real.
I'm here for it. Let's switch and move on. How about the Atlanta Falcons? 25-24 winners over Jordan Love and the Pack. And in that game, a dude emerged. Now, he had a touchdown in week 1. He did not in week 2. But you know what Bijan Robinson did have? 19 carries for 124 yards, including multiple carries that led to fail-con points in which Atlanta was able to steal victory from the jaws of defeat. Bijan Robinson, 19 totes for $124. Zoe, is he catching a TMFINR this week?
It's hard to run 100 yards in the NFL.
That is not real.
I'm here for it. Now, one that I'm going to give exclusively to the chat and not involve Lonzo with at all. Lonzo, what a quarterback who goes 31 of 37 for 274 and 3 touchdowns the week after a 3 INT first contest. Would that quarterback catch a TNFINR for you?
No, that's kind of a break-even moment.
You know what? I'm actually going to accept that. Josh Allen. He gets his last name back. He does not get a second Josh yet. All right. He's got to do it again. They did win 38-10 in this one. All right, so it's a big win over Jimmy G and his Raiders. 38-10, Josh Allen went for 274 on 31 of 37 through the air and 3 touchdowns. Here's what I'm going to say. He's not catching a TMFINR, but he will catch his last name back. He is now back to Josh Allen. He is not getting the second Josh back. He has to do that again to get the second Josh back. If he does, maybe it's back to Josh Allen next week. But right now, it's just Josh Allen. He got the last name back. That's the best he's getting. Is Geno Smith catching a TMFINR? Geno goes 32 of 41 for 328 and 2 touchdowns and upset in overtime at that point one of the Detroit Lions, whose win came over the Kansas City Chiefs back in the opener of the season. I am absolutely going to give Geno Smith.
No, hold on.
Real.
See, I don't know if he deserves it because he doesn't understand decorum, and he doesn't understand when someone's trying to talk to America, and he interrupts someone when they're trying to talk to America. That's a problem.
That is why I'm giving him the award.
See, because you got that sound clip now.
Let me tell you why. It is 2 parts. It's actually 3. Number 1, not a bad performance. 32 of 41. He missed 9. 32 of 41, 328 and 2 touchdowns, and an upset on the road. That's a pretty good stat line for a QB visiting Detroit, a place where the hype was real. But Geno Smith now not only gave us a referee telling him, I'm talking to America here. Get out of my face, I'm talking to America here. But he also gave us a bite last week, Alonzo, when Aaron Donald was bearing down on him and he went, oh my God, which was also hilarious. Geno providing comedic relief and wins at this point. His Seahawks are 1-1. So he catches the sounder. Here's one that I think catches the sounder, but I'm borderline on it. I want to give it to him because the expectations for he and his team were in the cellar. Instead, this young man has led his team projected as a 5.5 win total to a 2-0 start. Baker Mayfield and his Buccaneers. Bake went 26 of 34, Lonzo, for 317 and a touch in a Buccaneer win over the Chicago Bears. Now, the Bears are, and this is a scientific term, terrible at football.
Yeah, they're not good.
But they went down to Tampa, and Bake put 317 and a touch. Is Baker catching a TMFINR this week?
Yeah, he is.
That is not real.
How about Baker freaking Mayfield, dude?
All right, check out Michael on the stream. He's got one.
Michael says Mizzou's kicker, longest field goal in SEC history, TMFINR award.
That is not real.
Hell yes, 61 yards, longest in SEC history, yes. I don't know his name. I've forgotten it since Monday. I did drink a lot of beer at the game, Jim, but kind of is what it is.
All right, so it's taken me this long, and I think I finally am able to write this down for the chapter. TFNIR.
TMF.
See, you're just saying it really fast. I just did TMF.
That is not real.
TMFINR.
So I was close.
You're very
I'm not
close.
the only one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Somehow Michael got TSNR. That's close. TMFINR. Here's another TMFINR award candidate, Lonzo. CJ Stroud. Now, the accuracy not where you want it. He was 30 of 47 in this game.
I think
for the Houston Texans.
Carolina would take that.
Yeah, maybe. He was 30 of 7. They did lose 31-20 to Anthony Richardson and his Indianapolis Colts. Well, they lost to the Indianapolis Colts and half of a quarter from Anthony Richardson. But in that 30 of 47, CJ Stroud went 384 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lonzo, I don't want to hit the sounder on that, but I will let you decide.
All right. So
does he deserve one?
I'm going to go yes, because it's hard to deal with Minshew magic.
That is
Nice,
not
whatever
real.
it is.
I accept that. And then finally, his partner in crime, Nico Collins. Nico's a dude that when he ended up in Houston, we were all like, that's not enough. That's not enough for CJ to succeed. How about Nico Collins Day? 7 catches on 8 targets, 146 yards and a touchdown for the Houston Texans, being thrown to by a rookie quarterback. Nico Collins
That is not real.
catches a TMFINR without a doubt, right? That's an automatic to me. As the NFL guys go, that is automatic. And finally, I am going to hand one to a baseball player. The Atlanta Braves went on a little bit of a slow stretch there. They got blown out by the Miami Marlins the other day. Then they welcomed Philly down to the ATL. Now, Philly came in heated because, as I'm sure James can tell you, the Bravos won the NL East the other day, and they did it on Philadelphia's field. So the Phillies came down to play. Ronald Acuna Jr. last night went 3 for 5 with 2 home runs, 3 runs scored, a stolen base, and 2 ribbies. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's Ulta TMFINR award winner, the guy who takes it above everybody else, Ronald Acuna Jr.
That is not real.
No, he is not. No, he's not. Ronald Acuna Jr., if you are not watching Braves baseball, watch Ronnie play, if nothing else, because you are watching a dude do something incredibly special that no one else is even in the ballpark of right now. He's just that damn good.
Would you quit adding letters? Because now you throw an Ulta in front of
The Ulta TMFINR.
Yeah, that's another letter. I mean,
Listen, just go home and say the phrase a lot tonight, and then it'll ingrain in your brain.
I thought I had it right, and I
Like-
still didn't. I reversed some things, and now I'm pretty sure I got it.
Like
So
when you jump into Starfield tonight and you kill a dude, be like, "Hey, Miss Lisa,"
That is not real.
and then it'll ingrain in your brain.
yeah, I don't think I'll be saying that.
All right, there's your TMFINRs of the week. When we come back here in just a moment from now, we hit the Robby remix. We're going to take the AP top 10 college football programs, and then I'm going to remix them to put them in the correct order. The actual should be your top 10 based on performances from this year to date. We'll do that next. I'm Rob. He's the great when the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
Gables.
All right, guys, got a live read. Stay right there. We will be right back.
true to me, and that's a problem.
So Lonzo just sent me a tweet from Dove Kleeman, who said, update, the Panthers can't use the QB sneak play in their playbook because Bryce Young isn't big enough to make that work, according to ESPN. In an article on ESPN, it says that, quote, the biggest hole in the game plan for the Panthers is their inability to use the QB sneak. And it came with this absolutely hysterical picture of Bryce in the huddle with full-size football players. And I'm not going to lie, that is a problem.
Well, the whole part of sneaking is to sneak, and a little guy like that might be able to sneak when you're shorter, I guess. I don't know. It's okay, Jesse, because none of that's Rob's stuff, so he ain't gonna care. No, you don't. You're not seeing what's on stream. He's just over there opening,
just on the table.
Yeah, opening stuff up, putting jerseys on and stuff. It's like, dude, what are you doing? When I told him Diesel would probably be upset, he did it even more. So I don't know. Ain't nothing over their mind, so I don't care. Yeah, he's probably pretty sneaky, but they don't want anyone to fall on him, would be my guess.
I think he only quarterback sneaked in college like twice his entire career. Like he just doesn't.
It's not that he's short, because he is, but he's also
180 pounds.
Yeah, he's slight of build.
I could tackle Bryce Young, for the record. I mean, if I could catch him, I could tackle Bryce Young. Oklahoma drone,
Hey,
I could get Bryce Young.
You know who can quarterback sneak? C.J. Stroud.
Andy Dalton.
Well, that too.
They put Andy in a few times.
Yeah, but he
Every
couldn't.
time they put him in, me and Keegan were like, red rifle!
Yeah, but then there was a flag and he had to go back out. Yeah.
Yeah. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is back after I was out yesterday and he was out the first hour of the show. We've got a lot of stuff to get into, but right now, as promised, we get into the Robby remix. This is where we take the AP top 10 as they are ranked, and I put them in the correct order for you. Now, I will tell you, as I told you last week, and I'll tell you pretty much every time we do this, this poll does not take anything beyond week one, looking back, into consideration. It has nothing to do with Georgia as a two-peat champ. It has nothing to do with recruiting rankings from last year. This has to do solely with what you have done on the football field this year. So let's jump into them. I'm going to start with number 10. Now, they did receive not one, not two, but 3 first-place votes in the AP poll, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Texas. I'm putting the Longhorns at number 10, and you're going, wait a minute, Roberto. Didn't they beat number 3 Alabama? And the answer is yes, they sure did, 34-24. But here's the thing. It turns out beating Alabama isn't that impressive this year. Alabama damn near got beat by the University of South Florida this weekend.
I'm sure you saw that, or maybe you did.
I did. I was wondering what that was about.
Yeah.
It was aggressive.
Yeah, I did the mic thing.
Oh, so we're even now?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to take that as 1-1. We're all level through 1. They did, but beating Alabama, it turns out, not all that impressive. They have had quarterback struggles. They are going back to Jalen Milroe this weekend. And then on top of that, Texas has got a win over Rice, and they went almost to the wire with Wyoming, all due respect to the Cowboys up in Laramie, but they're not a Power 5 school or anywhere close to it. I think Texas is good. I think Texas is in a fine position to make a run at the playoff. There's still a lot of football to work itself out, but I'm just not there yet with the Longhorns. At number 9, one spot ahead of them, Lonzo's the Ohio State Buckeyes are checking in. Why at number 9? Well, they got to be in the top 10 after a 63-10 win over Kentucky. The problem is, I go back to week 1.
Where I was going to say, where were they last week? I don't remember.
Last
where you
week,
had them.
I think they were at 7.
Wow. So why would they drop?
I'm going to tell you as we progress through these, because these are rankings where I do not move a team and I go, oh, down 1 or up 3. I take all 10, I put them in a pot, and then I draw them and re-rack them every single week.
Okay.
So you could be 7 one week and 2 the next, depending on what you did and who you did it against. No,
all right, I completely disagree, but I understand how you do it now. So we're good.
So this does not even take into consideration what you did last week. Now, yes, 63-10 wins over Western Kentucky, but it's a 63-10 win over Western Kentucky. What I think is holding back the Buckeyes is the 2 weeks before that. Yes, they got decisive wins over Youngstown State and Indiana, but they got wins over Youngstown State and Indiana. I like what this team is doing. I like that Kyle McCord broke out of his shell, but this is also a cumulative of 3 weeks. And the Buckeyes had in weeks 1 and 2 very much leaned on their defense to allow the offense time to put points on the board. I like the Buckeyes. I'm going at number 8 with the Bulldogs of Georgia. Yes, I've got them all the way down at number 8. Why is that? They've got 57 first place votes in the AP poll. Well, the answer is in week 1 and 2, they played UT Martin and Ball State. Not good football. All right. In week 3, they were down at the half to South Carolina. And yes, I am going to spend time talking about how much I liked what the Gamecocks were able to do this weekend, how I absolutely think that the Gamecocks should feel a little bit of confidence based on their game against Georgia. But respectfully, they are still the Gamecocks of South Carolina. This was not against another top-tier, top 10 program. And then I combine them with the first 2 weeks, and Georgia just has slept walk through the one game that they were challenged and had to wake up in the second half. Georgia's number 8. At number 7, I'm not going to lie, they are being carried by a week 1 win. I've got the Seminoles of Florida State down at number 7. They went up to Boston College and they escaped just barely with a 31-29 win. Now, again, I told you, it was Red Bandana weekend. That's always a weird game up there in Chestnut Hill. The Noles get it done. They are leaning heavy on the 45-24 demo job of a top 5 team in LSU and putting 66 on the board at home against Southern Miss. This game was on the road, but they escaped. I got the Noles at number 7. At number 6, the team that is ranked number 2 in the AP poll, that is the Michigan Wolverines. They beat Bowling Green this weekend, 31-6. But here's the thing. Once again, Michigan is not putting razzle-dazzle points up on the board. They look fine, but that's it. To me, they look fine. And yes, they are checking in a lot of substitutes in the second half, but so are other teams that are putting 50 and 60 up on the board. They've played ECU, UNLV, and Bowling Green. There's really no competition to even judge them against so far, and that is why the Wolverines have dropped from number 2 in the AP poll down to number 6. Top 5 as it stands right now. I am going to start with another Big Ten team. That is the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Again, another team that hasn't done a lot, but they have done more than Michigan to prove it. They beat West Virginia 38-15 to open the year. They dumped 63 on Delaware, and this week they went to a place that has provided them with a lot of unique and weird games over the past few years. They were at the Illini of Illinois this weekend, and they walked out of there 30-13 winners. That is a place that has challenged James Franklin and his Nittany Lions the last few years. They jumped over the speed bump. I got Penn State at number 5. At number 4, I'm putting the Oregon Ducks. I like what the Ducks are doing right now. Portland State week 1, they put 81 on them. All right. And you should. That's a terrible team. Then they went to Texas Tech and beat the Red Raiders. Now, ordinarily in any of the year, that might look good. But remember, Texas State lost to Montana the week before that. So this Red Raider team is not your daddy's Red Raider team. And then they welcomed Hawaii to the pond and beat them 55-10. So the teams they should be hanging fitty on, they are. That's why I've got Oregon at number 4. At number 3, quarterbacked by a guy that I think is rapidly punching his way to the top of the Heisman Trophy ranks. A 41-7 over not Mel Tucker's Michigan State Spartans, the Washington Huskies. Michael Penix Jr. How about these numbers, Zoe? 1,322 yards. He has thrown for 12 touchdowns and 1 interception on the year. There's not a lot of quarterbacks who have thrown for a game without 1 pick.
I don't know. This
guy's got 1 on the year.
He's kind of a slacker. He needs to pick it up before the end of the season, though.
Yeah, 1,332 yards, a 74% completion percentage, and 12 touches to 1 pick. Terrible season.
Well, what's he got to do to make it 75? You know?
We're going to find out. Just like 2 more completions, I think. Michael Penix Jr. has got his Huskies at number 3 in the Robby remix. Then we go to number 2, ladies and gentlemen. They have a slight advantage because they've played more football games. But in those more football games, they're beating everybody the way they're supposed to. Sam Hartman and his Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 2. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, they got NC State 45-24. They trumped Navy 42-3. They put 56 on the head of Tennessee State, and they beat Central Michigan 41-17. I've got Notre Dame as the number 2 team in the country. You can note me all you want. Great one. I'm not taking it back. And then at number 1 overall, a team that has not scored less than 56. They have given up 14 more than 14 only 1 time. This team is the best offense in the country and maybe the most well-rounded. That is the Trojans of Southern California. I have got them in the number 1 spot after a 56-10 win over Stanford, 66-14 over Nevada, and 56-28 over San Jose State, a game that felt like it was closer until you look back and realize it really wasn't. USC has the best offense in the country right now. They are wide ass open. Now, I have a major problem with Lincoln Riley, and I'm going to get to that later on in the radio broadcast. But what I don't have a problem with is what this offense is doing. So the
I just got to say, about 5 people in the listening audience have seen USC play, and they won't be relevant until next year.
Then you don't know ball. Because they're good.
He's back.
They're real good. So the AP top 10 goes like this. Number 10, Oregon. Number 9, Notre Dame. Number 8, Washington. Number 7, Penn State. Number 6, Ohio State. Number 5, USC. Number 4, FSU with 1 first-place vote. Number 3, Texas with 3 first-place votes. Number 2, Michigan with 2 first-place votes. And number 1, Georgia with 57. The Robby remix goes like this. Texas, number 10. Number 9, Ohio State. Number 8, Georgia. Number 7, FSU. Number 6, Michigan. Number 5, Penn State. Number 4, Oregon. Number 3, Washington. Number 2, Notre Dame. And number 1, USC. What do you like? What do you hate? Shoot me a text on the carpros.com text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air when we come back here in just a minute. Speaking of text, we got a bunch like this one that has decided to ruin my day. Zoe, tell Rob Cole was barefoot on his desk.
I believe he took pictures. Yeah, you put 1 foot up, then another foot up, and then both feet up, if I recall, because the fine listeners of this program ask him to do it. I don't know what you're looking for, but it ain't going to help. Okay. Wait. Before you spray a liquid.
I don't care about the equipment.
No, all right. I do, which appears to be water.
If you cared about the equipment, you wouldn't have let him put his nasty ass feet up on the desk.
First of all, it's too late. You already got the stank on your hands, and it ain't coming off.
Unbelievable. Cole, everything nice is said about you in the first hour, I take back. Every word of it. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute.
Why we got snitches, man? Why we got snitches up
You
in here?
did that knowing they'd snitch.
Why we
Lonzo,
got-
stop lying.
I didn't do it. They did. We were on the stream. I had nothing to do with it. I'm an innocent bystander. But snitches, man. Snitches.
I'm going to drink a lot of beer tonight, Jim. Budweiser.
I'm Rob. I'm angry. He's Lonzo. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show. From the fan upstate.
My world.
All right, guys, real quick. Live read. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, the spooky season is here, my friends, and Mad World is open and ready to give you the fright of the season. This year, bigger, better, badder, and scarier than ever before, with all new horrifying rooms, scares, carnival games, escape rooms, and more. This year is fresh, it is intense, and it is entertaining. It is South Carolina's #1 haunted house. It is one of America's top scream park. Get it? Scream parks. Scream, not theme. Scream. All right, you get it. Explore your way through elaborate haunted trails, over a mile of them, with new room scares and top-notch actors. You'll experience the Zombie Outbreak, the Pinehurst Asylum, the Chainsaw Massacre House, Pirates Revenge, the Carnival of Clowns, Werewolves, and much, much more. So grab your friends, grab your family, and get ready to scream. And don't forget, they have those no scare medallions. So if you, and I don't know who would be like this, hate being jump scared and don't think it's entertaining in the least, but you still want to check it out, you can get that no scare medallion and they'll leave you alone. You'll just get to see the sights and sounds without the scares. Tickets are available right now at madworldattractions.com, madworldattractions.com. Don't wait until Halloween weekend and have to wait in long lines. Go down and beat the crowd. Located in Piedmont off of I-85, exit 35. It's Mad World. Robby!
Yeah, it doesn't help when they didn't mute it, but so I might as well just come back, which I was going to do anyway, and say thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes. I really, really appreciate it. And it took you guys long enough to mention about the feet. You were just waiting until I was here. So thank you. I appreciate the fact that you waited till I was here. Maybe that's what you were doing. See, the you guys thing, probably never going to happen, Trey. Rob and I will do many a thing outside of work. I'm talking about fun stuff, but that is a thing that Rob will not do.
No, that's not a joke. I love that you guys think it's
he
a
will
shtick.
not do that.
I like that you guys think it's a shtick.
I've been there. It's a good time. I got more freaked out by people who I work with going there with me and things that they did, but still, I love how things like that are put together and stuff. And
the theatrics of it
yeah.
are incredible. They took us, was it last year or the year before? They took us before they opened on Odyssey night. They just brought us and gave us a look.
Yeah, and I left early. I'm still disappointed about that.
So first off, they gave us a tour of the whole park.
See, the reason why I left early is because some guy brought his own putter to the golf thing, and it just really messed me up. Because who does that? Who does that?
He won. That's what he did. So after we played the golf, they took us on like a tour of the haunted house with the lights on, and the sets were awesome. But then they took us back to the actors shed where all the actors like put on their prosthetics and their makeup, and they have all the props back there, and they let us like play with the props and watch some of the actors put their makeup on.
Ooh.
And it was unbelievable. Like as somebody who's interested in production, it was incredible.
I just had an idea. So I'm thinking of going as Jonah Hex for Halloween on the Upstate Pulse. Maybe I can get someone from Mad World to come and do the makeup for me. Yeah. Cross promotion and all that kind of stuff.
Is it a bad time to reference that I saw Rob's pen hit the foot desk that he took?
Dude, with all the stuff that's going around this building, that's the least of your worries.
No, it's not. It's a foot.
That is the least of your worries. I'm not sure that Cole showered. I mean, I'm not positive. He might be an everyday showerer. I don't know. His hair is kind of short, so you can usually tell if someone showered by their hair. And his hair, the way his hair is, I can't tell. So,
All right, we are going to do a little cleanup here. Reading your text and your tweets and your
Clean
messages.
up.
Yeah, I know. This desk is getting scrubbed until the varnish comes off after the show's over.
We ain't paying for no varnish. Are you kidding?
I gave you the Robby remix of the AP Top 10 in the last segment. Texter says, Rob, as an FSU fan, number 7 is totally fair. We should have dominated Boston College. Yes, you should have. And now, all of a sudden, the Noles went from what I thought was going to be a 9.5-point favorite on the road at Clemson this weekend. Now a 3-point favorite are the Noles over Clemson. Coming up on Saturday, a game we are going to break down extensively on tomorrow's edition of the show. Texter said, happy Buckeye birthday, brother. Hope it's a great day, Lonzo.
Thank you very much, OH.
Texter said, Lonzo, thank you for being born the savior of morning radio. And also, the kids were so happy with the Lonzomas stocking stuffers. I don't know what that is. Is Lonzo secretly Santa Claus?
No, that's they're kind of they're
or
going.
Is that from your kids?
No, they're going over the top. They're it's the savior thing.
Gotcha.
Christmas. Yeah. I appreciate the birthday wishes though.
Texture said, Rob, Bijan Robinson is the new CMAC 22. No, you know who the new CMAC 22 is?
The same one. But
CMAC 22.
He's in San Francisco. By the way, pretty good team.
Pretty damn good team.
I believe they play tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, when we do your NFL power rankings, San Francisco, spoiler alert, going to be very close to the top. Texture said, Rob, how about the Greenville Drive on that South Atlantic League Championship last night? Ring season, boy. # we dance in September. Yes, indeed. The Greenville Drive last night.
I saw some pictures of rings posted, and they look pretty cool if that's the ones they're getting.
Yeah, I got to call Alex. I think I deserve one. I worked like 15 games this year.
You were there?
Yeah,
why not? You contributed.
I was a hype man. Like that baseball team wouldn't have been as hype. All the games they won when I was there, I take credit.
Yeah, right? You should. You're welcome, Greenville Drive.
I take credit. You are welcome, Greenville Drive. Texture said, won't be listening at 10 a.m. Well, this is missed a message. Won't be listening at 10 a.m. because of work, but happy birthday, Lonzo. Mine is next week, so I'll party enough for both of us. That's from Joey. So a little happy birthday message there. Texture said,
yeah, hopefully the happy birthday is not messy because
of this text.
Yeah.
Texture says,
Messi!
Welcome back, Rob. Thanks, Texter. I was gone one day. I feel like you guys were okay. Texture said, well, let me tell you something, brother. Those no-good Saints may have beat the Cats at the bank on Monday, but we'll catch them next time in the Silver Dome, brother. Sorry, I meant Superdome, brother. I was in the building when Hogan called the Superdome the Silver Dome, and it was incredible. Texture says, what is it with Rob's foot fetish? I don't know what the opposite of a fetish is.
Yeah, it's not a fetish. It is the opposite of a fetish.
I need y'all to know I think Rex Ryan is the grossest, weirdest person in the world.
Yeah, but he thought that before he found out about the foot thing, probably.
No, I like the Ryans because Rob's hilarious. So I like Rex by default until that. Listen, whatever gets you Jimmy's off in your own bread,
I like
do your
Rob.
thing.
I like Rob because that's what my hair would look. If my hair looked like that, I'd probably look exactly
you are
like
very
him.
similar.
Yeah,
That's your Halloween costume. I'm gonna just buy you a long sleeve Saint shirt and you can be Rob Ryan.
That might burn.
When we come back, it's been too long. We have to talk Dion. We have to talk Colorado State, and the impact of that game on college football. We do it next on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
What would be even better, Trey, would be a Don Callis painting of feet.
I hate all of you.
Because you know that would be a work of art. There's some dude being employed right now by AEW, getting to do all that, get to do the paintings, and hoping, yeah, we're doing another one this week, right? I wonder if I doubt they're doing that in house. You know, maybe they are. Maybe they've got an artist in house. But someone's getting paid some good money to do that. I hope. He tried on a Wofford jersey, by the way, Stephen. There's one over there. I told him to leave it alone.
Last year is a bet loss. It's a schmedium, and I'm not that.
Oh, he struggled into it too, and I told him not to wear it because Diesel would get mad, but he did it anyway. Don't want to invoke the wrath of a man whose name is a truck.
Just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
You know what? I go to the art gallery, Trey. I would. At least right now, I would go to an art gallery to look at all the Don Callis stuff. That would be really cool.
That needs to be his new shtick. It's just increasingly more ridiculous paintings.
Or even just a museum of nothing but art created for wrestling. Because remember the Jericho and Kevin Owens painting?
Yeah.
Where Kevin was like, no, we're done with this.
So like I appreciate my Facebook memories for what they are. You know, they like every now and then pop up a picture you forgot, or like an event you went to, you forgot you went to, whatever, and they're great. But sometimes they just absolutely kick you in the gut. Like, for instance, when I was just looking back and saw messages 15 years ago, Rob said, goal, be to 200 pounds for the summer. And then 3 years ago, it was goal, be to 220 before the summer. And last year was goal, be to 240 before the summer.
So wait. You're trying to go back, not forward. Because if you're going forward,
yeah, my goals are becoming progressively less challenging year by year.
Well, you know.
He 100% put the jersey on that asked Alonzo if he looked ready to suit up. Don't remember what Zoe said exactly, but his reaction was hilarious. Listen, I love Cole, and Cole's in better shape than I am, but ain't none of us in shape to wear that jersey. All right, none of us.
Look, I know someone who could wear that jersey and it would look big on him. Matthew.
Like maybe.
But he wouldn't put it on. He would not put it on.
It looks like a child's T-shirt.
It does. And the number,
I mean, it's cool as hell.
I mean, if it had like a 3 on it, I get it, but it's 93.
93.
Nowadays it don't matter. But
nobody that should be wearing number 93 should wear this number 93. It's a dope jersey. It's one of my. It's a great looking jersey.
Yeah, numbers don't matter anymore. You can wear whatever number you want, pretty much.
Brian Burns number 0.
It's an honor to wear the O.
Oh, I'd have begged to wear number 0.
Not me, especially not in high school. Oh, the pain that would cause. Look, here comes the 0. You were popular, though, so you didn't have to worry about all that.
My basketball number was 00 for a reason. That way, when they printed the stat sheet after games, it was just zeros all the way across.
I hope that's not true.
It was my junior year. But I'm not ashamed of that because my junior year, our starting basketball lineup my junior year went 7'2", 6'9", 6'9", 6'7", 6'6". That was our starting lineup. I was 6'3" and played a shooting guard. I don't shoot.
How are your handles, though, man? You could have been
not shooting guard. The only reason I was on the team was because when Michael Doe, who went 7'2", needed practice banging around in the paint, they'd be like, Rob, that's
Michael Doe.
Mike Doe went to the University of Western Kentucky. He was a Hilltopper for 4 months before he decided he didn't like basketball and wanted to be a fashion designer, and now makes exclusively clothes for big and tall men, which are great, by the way.
Oh, okay. So you've worn his line?
No, because it's bigger than me. 6'3" is not big to Mike Doe.
Okay. Well, big is not. I mean, tall. There's big.
Yeah. The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. We are talking football on the show today, and I want to jump right into it this hour.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
I want to talk a little bit about Coach Prime.
You got them. Look at dude, those are sweet. They really are. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, the X. Rob is rocking the Prime sunglasses right now, and they look expensive.
$62.
That's kind of, that's pretty expensive.
There are a few things I do not skimp on. Shoes, hoodies, sunglasses are amongst them. All right. So I decided to jump in the deep end and get a pair of Primes. All right. Now, I did not get the gold, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to now. All right.
So this was like your trial pair. You're going to get to see how they fit, all that kind of stuff.
Here's why I like this pair. I went with the Miami Vice, kind of purple into blue.
There are people out there who have no idea what Miami Vice is. It's sad, but
My people.
Yeah. So I'm being a lot more reflective today, but yeah.
My glasses, look at them.
They are. I can see myself.
Yeah, you guys watching on the stream can see my show prep. You can see yourselves in the glasses here. I got these because I'm like, you know what? Worst case scenario, if I don't like them as let me roll around in them all the time, they're gonna make great beach glasses. They're a little oversized. They're highly reflective. They're UV, and they're good beach colors, right? That purple and blue. And I thought if I like them, I'll go back and get the gold. Because the gold, you got to be in a mood to pull off the Coach Prime golds. You just do. You got to be in a mood. And then I thought to myself,
sure it isn't that you saw McAfee rocking the gold and was like,
McAfee is always in a mood.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Just how
all right.
That's why I've said McAfee is me. I'm almost always in a mood, right? And I got them. I'm like, oh, dude, those will go dope with every Saints thing I own. How good would gold glasses go with this shirt right now? 100%. They'd be perfect. So now I got to go back and get the golds as well. Anyway, I want to talk Coach Prime here on the show.
Oh, my wife's on there saying she wants some of those. Hey, order us a pair. I want the gold.
Go ahead.
Give me the gold because I'm always on.
Listen,
Rob needs to be in a mood. I'm always in that mood.
I am making $0 NIL dollars off of these sunglasses. They're solid. They're good. I like them. They're heavy enough to feel quality, but not so heavy that you like your head.
They look like they'd work better on a bigger face. That's why I probably need some.
Well, good thing I got a big ass head then.
Yeah, not as big as mine. So
grab a pair. They're dope. I like them. No NIL money coming to me for these. But let's talk about Coach Prime for a minute. So we had the game between Colorado and Colorado State very late on Saturday night. And if you, ladies and gentlemen, were like the rest of America, you stayed up to watch this game. How do I know that you stayed up to watch this game? Well, it's very simple because the numbers are in, and they are ridiculous, dude. They are ridiculous. Colorado's double OT victory over Colorado State, which ended very early on Sunday morning, drew Lonzo 9.3 million viewers. Now, the most watched game of the season so far was Florida State LSU. It hit right at 11 million viewers at its peak. It averaged, if I recall correctly, like 10.3, so about a million more people. But what was the difference? That game was in prime time on a Sunday night all by itself. This game kicked off at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday night and was not the only game taking place. 9.3 million viewers. It was the most watched late night college football game in the history of the four-letter, and it was ESPN's 5th most watched regular season game ever on the network for any time slot. That is every afternoon game, every early afternoon game, every primetime game, and every night game, the 5th most watched of all time. It was also the most streamed regular season college football game of all time. The most streamed. It was the 5th most watched game of ESPN, again, of all time on that network. So the impact is unquestionable for Coach Prime. The numbers are there. Nothing is better for Colorado. Forget the wins. Nothing's better than the amount of money that is coming in. Oh, by the way, you know who else is absolutely salivating right now? The Big 12. Because remember, Colorado starting next year is no longer in the Pac-12. They're in the Big 12. This move 3 years ago, Lonzo, and I mean this move 3 years ago would have maybe saved the Pac-12. That's how big this move is. That's how impactful it is. He might have, Deion Sanders, saved the Pac-12 had he gone to Colorado 3 years ago. Now he is effectively giving a massive leg up for the Big 12 to become the EEC over the ACC, the everybody else conference that is not the Big 10 or the SEC, which, by the way, the SEC looking like an average conference right now while Colorado's doing this and going to the Big 12 is immense, right? It's immense. So all of that being said, and we'll get further into that and all of that here in just a minute, but the question mark has been about the impact on college football as a whole. Well, again, I think the first thing is it is immense, no doubt, because it's getting more eyeballs. Now, the question, though, is going to be, what happens if Colorado gets the hell beat out of them the next 2 weeks? They got Oregon, and then they got USC. They are on the road in Eugene before they come back to Boulder to square up with the Trojans. What happens if those two teams beat Colorado by 30, right? Oregon's a 20-point favorite at home. That means Vegas thinks they're 2 touchdowns and a field goal better plus the 3 for it being in Eugene. We don't have a line yet on the USC game, but I would bet as a professional handicapper myself, I'd be willing to bet USC is coming into that as a 24.5-point favorite today, right? 24.5 points. And, oh, by the way, keep in mind that Colorado is going to be without Travis Hunter for both of those games. He is out estimated 3 weeks with what has been reported as a lacerated liver due to the hit that he took from the player from Colorado State. Can you imagine?
I mean, I know what it feels like to get hurt because I reconstructed knee. But, I mean, that's one thing. But getting hit so hard that your insides get lacerated. I mean, it was a mean hit, too.
How hard you got to get racked to be cut on the inside?
Yeah, there's
not supposed to be anything sharp around the liver.
Yeah, that means you're ow. And how do you recover from that?
You wait. You sit down and you wait for 3 weeks. Apparently,
that's the other thing. It's only takes 3 weeks to come back from a lacerated liver. It seems like you'd be out for years, right? To me, I guess.
Yeah, that's optimistic. So they got to go without Travis, without their best player, without a two-way player. I say he's the best because he's a two-way player. Shedeur only goes one way. And he's phenomenal at it, by the way, but he only goes one way. So my first question is, if Colorado gets smoked by Oregon and USC this weekend, is all the hype there in 3 weeks when they play Arizona State? And the answer is, I don't friggin' know, right? Like, I don't know if they're going to justify Lil Wayne rapping them out of the locker room when the Sun Devils come calling when they're sitting on a 3-2 record and got trounced 2 weeks in a row.
I think it depends. Well, if they get trounced, I'm not so sure they're getting trounced. I mean, if you lose like by a field goal or something, you're not going to lose all the hype for that. If you go out there and get boat raced, yeah.
But it would have to. And they lose by 21 this weekend and 25 next weekend.
After 2 weeks?
Yeah. Does the hype die?
To a degree.
Yeah.
Will you send your sunglasses back if that happens?
No, I kind of like them now.
Okay.
I kind of like them now. They've kind of grown on.
Because you have bought into the hype literally.
Yeah, 100%. And let me tell you why. A couple of reasons. Number one, I played you the clips on Monday of Dion from a 60 Minutes interview. I'm not going to play them again. But basically, the interviewer asked Dion 2 questions that jumped out at me. The first one, he said, after week 1, after the win over TCU, you started campaigning for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Henry to be Heisman Trophy candidates, finalists. Why? And he said, because that's what those kids want, right? First off, he kept calling them my kids, which I think is great. And then he said, that's what those kids want. That's what they came here for. That's what they came to me for. They came to me for notoriety. They came to me for attention. They came to me to be placed on the highest pedestal. So that's what the hell I'm going to do. And I think he's done it. How many times have I told you guys? Recruiting in 2023 is not about, and it's never about it's never going to again be about what can you do for the school. You must earn a scholarship from us based on what you can do for our school. College recruiting now is what can you do for, what can the school do for you? College recruiting used to be, what can you come here and do for us that makes you worthy of a scholarship from us? College recruiting in 2023 is, what can this school do for you to justify you signing with us? And that mindset has shifted. It has turned around. And nobody recognized that before, well, me and Deion Sanders. I've been telling you this for 2.5 years now. And Deion recognized that, and he jumped all over that. The reason he's got, the reason he's got Shedeur is it's his boy. But the reason that Travis decided to sign with Deion was as much about that as it was the cool factor of playing for Deion, which is, by the way, another factor. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to call a shot right now. One of the impacts is that some colleges are going to try to replicate what Colorado's doing with Deion Sanders. Some colleges are going to try to replicate what Colorado's doing with Deion, and they're going to go get a retired, brash, outlandish personality that's a former NFL player to come in, and they go, hey, come play for this guy. He's a Hall of Famer. And that guy is not going to be able to build a staff. See, because when Deion got to Colorado, what did I say was the biggest question about the Buffs? Can Deion coach? We know he can recruit. We know guys are going to flock to play for Deion. Deion's been retired from the NFL for 21 years now, and yet he is still Deion bleeping Sanders. He's still primetime. He's got full-fledged media members, professional media members calling him Coach Prime. Both calling him coach, which is something in the media, like on this end of it, when you're coming up through J school, you are told not to do. When I sit down with a coach, I am on equal footing. I am a professional. You are a professional. We are talking as professionals. You are not my coach. You are Dabo or Shane or whatever. Or if I want to be respectful, Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Beamer, Mr. Sanders. Not coach, but it's accepted with Deion. I'm watching journalists, like longtime professional suit and tie journalists, call him Coach Prime. So he's broken that mold. 2, kids are falling over backwards to go play for this guy, right? So you're going to have some college teams the next couple of years that are going to try to replicate that by going to get another brash, outspoken, confident former NFLer, but that guy's not going to be able to build the staff because Deion has put together a hell of a football staff. He's got great college football coaches. By the way, you know who said yesterday evening on social media he's going to join Deion's staff next year? Warren Sapp. Lonzo, if you were going to go to college to play defensive line, I think Warren Sapp would be a pretty good guy I'd want to sign up to play on.
I don't know. He's had some controversy, but I mean, as far as on the field, yeah, for
One
sure.
of the best of all time.
But off the field, he's had some
Without
things.
a doubt.
Yeah.
So is Deion Sanders. But it's not stopped anybody. So that's what Deion's doing. But there's a second thing that comes along with this. And that's this. Deion understands. I talked about this on Monday. Deion understands that it is an entertainment industry he's in. Yes, you get to be an entertainer by being a successful coach. But this is an entertainment industry. You have to entertain. Did you watch the end of the Colorado State game? A game in which we had, 217 penalties? A game in which we had illegal hits, we had fist fights, we had eye gouges. It was a professional wrestling match, and also a football game got played. But did you watch the end of the game? Did you see what Neon Deion, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders did? He walked across the field. He walked up to Jay Norvell, Lonzo, and he just gave him a handshake and the old bro hug, and they went their separate ways, right? Because there was no more entertainment there. He knew where he won. Scoreboard says the Buffs are walking out of there with a dub. There's nothing more he needs to say or do. We can't be more entertained. If he walks up and he makes a big deal out of putting on his hat and putting on his sunglasses to shake hands with Jay Norvell, what's the attitude? Dude, you already beat him. You already won. What are you rubbing it in for? If he made a big deal of taking off his hat and his sunglasses and he walked up to Jay Norvell, you'd be like, again, you already won. What are we doing here? So what did he do? He left on the cap. He walked up. He shook his hand. He said, great game. And he walked away because he understands more than anything else. The entertainment value of that game was in that game. There was nothing more Deion could do to elevate it. So he shook hands and he walked off like any other handshake because Deion understands entertainment and utilizing that entertainment to make himself better as a coach and make his program better. And I think that's the biggest thing. But then Deion did something else. I'm going to come to that clip here, if you don't mind, Lonzo. After that hit on Trav that took the two-way player out of the game, it was reported that Travis Hunter was going to be out for 3 weeks. And Henry Blackburn, who was the young man for Colorado State that hit Travis Hunter on the sideline, Henry Blackburn, according to sources, #sources, Henry Blackburn apparently started receiving death threats from college football players. Now, that is gross, frankly. That's gross. I don't like it. And it should be considered gross. Deion heard about that, sat down at his press conference on Monday, and said this.
Henry Blackburn is a good player who played a phenomenal game. He made a tremendous hit on Travis on the sideline. You could call it dirty. You could call it he was just playing the game of football. But whatever it was, it does not constitute that he should be receiving death threats. This is still a young man trying to make it in life, a guy that's trying to live his dream and hopefully graduate with honors or degree, committed to excellence and go to the NFL. He does not deserve a death threat over a game. At the end of the day, this is a game. Someone must win, someone must lose. Everybody continues their life the next day. Very unfortunate. I'm saddened if there's any of our fans that's on the other side of those threats. I would hope and pray not, but that kid was just playing the best of his ability, and he made a mistake. So I forgive him. See you, our team forgive him. Travis he's forgiven him. Let's move on. But that kid does not deserve that.
I love it. I love it. Everything he said was spot on. He was playing his ass off in a game that had a lot of tension and a lot of drama built up around it, and he made a mistake. Lonzo, you and I, though it was many moons ago, both used to be 18. Did you ever get caught up in the height of athletic competition, especially when it was against a rival in a drama-filled environment where you maybe did or said something that you were like, probably want that one back?
Yeah, I tackled a guy on the track.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way on the track. The ref was laughing his butt off. He's like, "Do that again. I have to kick you out." But still,
100%.
In the heat of it, and you're battling, and things get even above and beyond what they normally would. Sometimes you do things you shouldn't do, and whether it's a legal or illegal hit, I mean, it was just a hard hit. It absolutely was.
Well, I'm happy to call it dirty for the sake of conversation. Let's say it was a dirty hit.
But
let's all agree
but a
it
hit
was.
that would have been praised, 25, 30 years. When I was playing, it would have been praised.
But it's not in 2020.
They would have played that over and over again the next day in film study and showing, here's how you do this.
For sure. Right? But let's say in 2023, for the sake of the conversation, it was a dirty hit. Definitively. We all agree. Consensus dirty hit. It was a kid who made a mistake in a high-profile, high-tension, drama-filled rivalry game. Was it dumb? Hell yeah. Does he deserve some sort of punishment for it? Sure, absolutely. But death threats? No. And the fact that Deion jumped all over that. More importantly, did you hear what he did in the middle? He said, yo, if you're a Colorado fan, don't do this. Right? He understands that along with all this newfound passion for Colorado football, for Deion Sanders and Colorado football, you are not only going to get a lot of fans who are going to be all in, but you're going to get a lot of bad fans. You're going to get the type of fans that, I don't know if you saw this story, punch a visiting fan in the head twice and kill him at a football game.
Yeah, it's very, very sad.
It's pathetic. It's trash. It is a garbage mentality for garbage people. If you were the type of people, Raiders fans, that like to throw hands at other football fans because they have the audacity of liking a football team that is not your own, you're a garbage person with a garbage mentality, and you should be taken out like the garbage and never welcome back into another stadium anywhere ever for anything. And Deion knows that. Deion knows that there is a mentality that comes along with a lot of bandwagon fans. And he said, yo, I want everybody in. Let's get hype. Let's have Yeezy. Let's have all these guys out there. But what we're not going to have is death threats to an 18-year-old football player who made a hit in a game. And the fact that he called out Colorado fans, he said, I hope it ain't us. I pray it ain't us. But if it is us, we got no room for that. The fact that he pointed that out, called that out, rolled with that, and made sure to say to new Buffalo fans, that is not what we want as part of the fan base, as part of the mentality that's wrapped up in the building of this program. Good job, Deion Sanders.
Yeah, but the people who are doing that, hearing the coach tell you not to do it, is not going to stop them. Because those are the kind of people who are going, but we know coach really wants us to do this, so that's what we're going to do.
90% of the time, I would agree with that. 90% of the time, I'd agree with that. But see, here's the thing. If you bandwagon on because the team is good, you don't really care about the coach in particular, right? People who have jumped onto the bandwagon as Chiefs fans the last few years, Alonzo, they're not there because of Andy Reid. They might acknowledge Andy Reid, but they're not there because of it. All the fans who jumped on over the years as Cowboys fans, they weren't there because of Jerry Jones or Jimmy Johnson or any of the other Cowboys coaches. They were there because that's the image, right? Colorado is the exception to that rule. The people who are now on the Buffs bandwagon, they're there because of Deion Sanders. It ain't because of the program's history. They ain't won a natty since I was 6. It ain't because of the legacy. It ain't because of the conference. It ain't because of the players as much as Shador and Travis have elevated themselves. They're not there because of that. The new Buffs fans, the bandwagon Buffs, are there because of and solely because of Deion Sanders and the hype that came with him. He is probably the only coach in the position of having a huge new wave of bandwagon fans that can look and go, hey, y'all are here for me? Y'all are here because of me? Don't do this crap. Don't do this because this is not what we want. Because here's the thing. If more Buffs fans start acting like that and doing stuff like that and sending death threats to other players, do you know what they are going to do? They're going to turn half of the country against you, and not in a good way. Everything's professional wrestling. Lonzo, you and I both know that there is a difference between heel heat and go away heat, right? In wrestling, for those of you that don't know pro wrestling, there's two kinds of heat. As a bad guy, as a heel, as a Reza Ramon. There's ways that you make the crowd boo you and actively dislike you and emotionally invest in seeing you get your ass kicked. There's ways to do that. The easiest ones, we call it a cheap pop, is what?
Make fun of the city that you're in.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Make fun of the city or make fun of the local sports
Come
team.
out wearing the
rivals colors.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why y'all are Packers fans. You all smell like cheese.
It's been effective forever, and it works in everything, not just wrestling.
But then there's another kind of heat, which is called go away heat. And that is where we go, no, we just don't like you. Not in like we like to be. A heat you love because you love to hate. Ric Flair, Razor Ramon, the great heels, you love to hate them, but you still love them and respect them. Go away heat is when you're like, I don't want you on TV. Not because I want to see you lose. You're just a bad character. You're just a bad wrestler. You're a bad character. I want you to go away. And if Colorado starts having that mentality, like the type of fan who sends death threats, be a Colorado Buffalo fan, you're going to start catching go away heat. And you're going to stop being shown on ESPN. You're going to stop being the most streamed team maybe in America if that becomes representative of your fan base. And Dion's not stupid. He knows that. So he came out and nipped it right in the bud, right out the gate. The guy's an entertainer and a good one. When we come back, 2 pieces of incredible audio from the last couple of days that you have to hear and you have to hear both. I'll play them for you when we come back. It's Rob, it's Alonzo, it's the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. Now I feel like I just got to leave the glasses on the rest of the show.
I don't know. You get in the habit of doing that.
I know. I'm like, I feel like I'm dating, like,
and plus it's already dark in here a little bit.
It is.
Dude, you're bound to hurt yourself probably. How dark are they on the other side of them? No, I don't want. I will stretch them out.
I don't think you.
I will. I don't want to do that.
I mean, they're definitely good sunglasses.
Have you ever worn headphones after I worn them? No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
I haven't worn them. I have just hung them over my head.
Right. So I'm not. If you were someone else, I'd have grabbed them and just stretched them for you. But no.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out, man. So my question is, does the lens color? I mean, they're like kind of see-through-ish, which is probably the only issue I have. Does like the lens color come across? I kind of think it does. Can you see that they're purple?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's more like it's got to have a light shining on it, kind of thing.
I thought they were black till now. So you told me they were purple. You cannot tell.
What about now? With the light on them?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, no.
They're kind of. Can you see through them? Like, can you see my eyes through them?
If I look really hard, yeah.
I mean, they're great. Like, they're dark on this side.
Again, you're wearing them in a dark room, so everything's not real. No, with your head turned that way, there's a little bit of a purple tint.
Yeah.
But you also got the purple going on in the background back there. So
I wore them up to. I wore them on the drive up to Charlotte on Monday, and like in the rearview mirror, they looked great.
How many times did you look at yourself in the rearview mirror? Okay.
Especially when I opened them and when I opened the box and put them on, I was just like, oh yeah, man. Color comes across, can't see your eyes though. That's good. That's good. That's good. Two broken ribs and a lacerated spleen took longer to recover than the ribs. I've had a broken rib before. It is the worst. It's not the worst pain, but it is a sharp, constant pain that does not go away. It hurts to breathe. It hurts to sit. It hurts to stand. It hurts to recline. It hurts to move. All you can do is sit in the most comfortable position you can get in and then breathe like.
I've had bruised ribs.
It sucks.
We played a 52 defense. And I kept getting through the line. So the off the tackle. The tackle punched me in the ribs every time I got past him to the point where, yellow bruises, where you bruise. I had a yellow bruise fist size at halftime. And I was in there and going, and my assistant coach just kicked me in the legs like, you still breathing? Like, okay, dude. That guy would have been fired so quick in today's age. I mean, so I definitely know that thing hurt forever. I never thought I would ever recover from that. I also got in a fight with that guy in college. So he's like, do you remember me? You come around that corner again. I was playing pulling guard, come around the corner. He's playing linebacker. I nailed him for the third time, and then we started fighting. I was second string. I got moved down to sixth string. But you know what? It was worth it.
Dom v. Ilya.
Just the look on his
Give
face. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I just saw that. It's like,
he slapped the poop
yeah,
out of him.
yeah.
He slapped him.
Yeah, and Ilya probably encouraged him to hit him harder. It's like, I don't care. If you're Dom, like, you can't go, yeah, well, my dad will beat you up. I mean, you can't really do that.
Yeah, because Eddie's gone.
Well, there's that. Hey, someone's on the roof. The building's shaking.
I just heard it.
Yeah, no, look, everything up here started shaking. I made sure I checked to see if you were bouncing first.
Those other two clips here. The Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Let's run through a couple of texts on the CarPros.com text line. Then I'm going to play you the two most incredible pieces of audio that I have heard in a while. Texter says, Rob, the Homer station is talking that it's likely South Carolina doesn't get bowl eligible this season. Is this likely or not? In your guys' minds, it's definitely a possibility. No, it absolutely is.
Did they talk about this after they were wondering if the team that they're a homer for was going to be playoff eligible? Because that's kind of in question a little bit too. The ACC is on fire this year, and Clemson's already lost one game. Who
done tried to tell you? I've done tried to tell you.
Listen,
none of y'all want to listen to me.
Let me tell you something, Rob Brown. With those glasses on, every time you do that, it's just snotty, ramped up. Every time you put your head around there like that, it's like, oh, come on, dude.
Full prime mode right now.
You are. I'm feeling it.
I'll put it this way, and I mean this. I am much, much, much more secure that Clemson is absolutely bowl eligible. South Carolina, I would not guarantee it. Clemson, I will guarantee, is in a bowl. Maybe not a great one, but they're in a bowl because they are going to be at the absolute worst 9-3. The absolute worst 9-3.
So how many games has Clemson won so far?
They are 2-1.
What are they going to be
against
FAU?
Yeah,
what are they going to be
after Southern?
So you won the ones you're supposed to. Well,
here's
sort of. So what are they going to be after this weekend?
I don't know yet.
Come on.
I think
all right,
2-2.
You're not going to throw that out there. I will throw that out there. They're going to be 2-2.
I think 2-2. But if you watched Florida State play this weekend and you're just confident FSU is going to beat Clemson, we'll have a talk about it. We're going to break that game down a lot. But at the worst, they lose to FSU. At the worst, they lose to Syracuse. At the worst, they lose to Miami. At the worst, they lose to Notre Dame. That's 8-4. As of today, I will take Clemson over South Carolina today. Today, I will take them over South Carolina.
I would not, because I think quarterback play, the quarterback on the South Carolina side far surpasses the one on the Clemson
I'm not disagreeing.
Side.
You know what does far surpass the other? Clemson's defensive line is going to beat the snot out of South Carolina's offensive line.
Does it really?
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Yeah, they sure took care of that Duke team, didn't they? Wow.
Duke's offensive line is better than South Carolina's right now.
Okay.
Stand on that.
All right.
Texas said, Prime is mimicking Jimmy Johnson and copying Jerry Glanville. If you embrace the heel, you might not like the consequences, or you will. I met Jerry Glanville at a Senior Bowl a number of years ago. He was on my show, and I was asking him, I don't remember who I was talking about. We were talking about another coach at the time. And Jerry Glanville, who had glasses very similar to these, as a matter of fact, Lonzo, I said,
always left tickets for Elvis. Yeah.
He did. And he said, this is what he said, direct quote. It's actually, I think it's still my Facebook profile. I think it's been up for like 14 years since I met Jerry Glanville. I asked him a question, Lonzo, and he looks at me. He's got the headset on with his big sunglasses on. And he goes like this: son, either you is Elvis or you ain't. And I was like, oh my God, I've never heard anything more profound in my life. Either you is Elvis or you ain't. Love that dude. Texas said, your liver can rebuild itself in a month. I learned that today after almost died drinking vodka like water for years and quit drinking via doc orders. Well, first off, congratulations, Texter. I know that's big.
Congratulations on the recovery, but not for the reason that you got there.
Congratulations on the recovery, because I know that's not easy. Even when it's medical orders, I know it's not easy. So congratulations to you. But yeah, I know it strings back around. I get it. I know it's not easy when someone else lacerates your liver. Texture said, when you finish around the 500 mark and can't find top 25 opponents after realignment, the hype will be done. That's the thing. These conferences are going to be so damn big that they will all three end up with top 25 teams in them repeatedly. I'm not worried about that. Texture said, is Wheezy the biggest bandwagon fan of all time from New Orleans, but had a song called Grin and Yellow? Yeah, that's why I don't like Wheezy. Now, I love him as a rapper, top 5 rapper all time, maybe top 3 rapper all time, without a doubt. I don't like him because he's from NOLA. NOLA made that dude, and then he's a Packers fan. Now, I did learn the story this weekend because somebody asked me. I'm like, you know what? Let me look this up. And it turned out when he was a wee little Wheezy, when he was baby Wheezy, apparently his dad went to a Packers game at the Superdome and brought him back a bunch of Packers gear. And gave Wheezy all this Packer stuff, which was basically free. And he was like, so as a baby, he formed his Packers love. I still don't like it, but whatever. Texture said, Rob, I don't think anyone is arguing the point that Clemson will be bowl eligible. Do you think it's likely South Carolina won't? Is it a possibility? Oh, it's absolutely a possibility South Carolina's not bowl eligible. 5-7 is an absolute possibility. I don't think it's the probability. I think 7-5 is more likely. But yes, it's absolutely a possibility.
I'm not even going to act like I agree with Rob about morale victories. But if that first half team from South Carolina last week plays everybody else, they're got a shot at winning.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind what Georgia did. They came out.
You're not
in the first half.
You're not going to do that thing, are you? Are you going to do that thing? Well, yeah, it's not that South Carolina was winning; it was that Georgia was losing.
South Carolina didn't do anything differently in the second half than the first. Georgia changed everything and then won the second half.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we're gonna break that down tomorrow because you're wrong. Texture said, so if I'm a Cowboys fan since 1970 and can remember games, players, and coaches since 70, I'm a bandwagon fan. See, this is what I love about Dallas fans. I talk about bandwagon fans, and Dallas fan from the 70s like, I'm not a band. Nobody said you were. Nobody said you were.
By the way, let me speak for our
Cowboys fans are the most insecure people on planet Earth.
I want to speak for our demographic and say thank you for listening.
I want to say stop being so damn insecure.
It's an older individual, and I appreciate you listening. You know what?
After
listen for me.
Years,
don't listen.
You drop the insecurity.
Don't listen for him. Listen for me. I appreciate you.
All right, I'm gonna play 2 clips of audio from you in a left-hand turn. I'm gonna start with. Let me start with clip number 2. This is Jesse Bell. Now, you don't know who Jesse Bell is, and frankly, you don't really have a reason to know who Jesse Bell is. Jesse Bell is a play-by-play announcer. He works for the Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Jesse Bell was calling a game of the Queen's University Gales when they were playing the Western University Mustangs. Now, I've only got about 7 seconds of audio here because the call got cut off, and there's a reason why. This is on the very last play of the game. Queen's University at this point was up 2 points on the Western University Mustangs. The Mustangs have the ball. It is the 4th quarter. There are 2 seconds left on the clock, and Jesse Bell comes up with this call.
Gillick draws back the pass. He's airing it out. It's going to be long. No! No!
Touchdown. That was the call. No! Touchdown. They lost the game on the final play, and Jesse Bell is now the second most known excited sportscaster in America behind only Gus Johnson at this point. And if you didn't think that I wouldn't capture
no
as a bite we use forever.
Okay, I was wondering who was keeping that, because if you didn't have it, I was getting it. So
me. Jesse Bell with the call.
No!
I think he likes Queens College, the Gales. Now, that was it. I was ready to roll with that piece of audio. We were just going to dissect that game call because Lonzo and I dissect game calls when they're great. And that was great. But was that the best audio of the weekend?
No! No!
Because there was another guy who went famous, 72-year-old Randolph White. Now, back on Monday, we talked a lot about the story of the missing jet fighter, an F-35 flying around Charleston, South Carolina. The pilots ejected and the plane went missing. It just MIA'd on the United States military. Well, it turned out that the thought was the plane went on autopilot and just kind of kept going, but it turns out that's not what happened. In fact, it crashed just outside of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but it crashed out in the sticks, out in the middle of nowhere. And the plane, the crash itself, was seen and heard by 72-year-old Randolph White. Now, Randolph is now the guy more than anybody, more than Brady, more than Breeze, more than anybody on planet Earth that I want to go drink a bunch of moonshine and shoot the boat with. Why? Well, this little bit of local news is from channel, I think, 8 out of Charleston, South Carolina, when they met up with Randolph White, the 72-year-old country feller who heard and saw the jet go down. Here is a clip from that story.
Normally it's pretty quiet, but on Sunday afternoon,
I was in the bathroom taking a shave, and I heard a screeching, between a screech and a whistle. I said, what in the world is this? And I heard a boom. Then my whole house shook.
White says he didn't realize it was a plane at the time, so he didn't call anybody.
The first thought came to me, I said, well, what's a meteorite coming out of space or something? And I said, well, if it's an airplane, it needed to be reported. That thing was flying just too low. So yesterday evening, I said, the helicopters, I was out there walking, and choppers keep flying around. I said, well, somebody must have robbed a banker, killed some people or whatever. So I walked up there. They told me it was about the plane.
The F-35B airplane wreckage created an extensive debris field. The wreckage is located off Old Georgetown Road. Military security is very tight, with numerous red and white signs on the side of the road that read, "No trespassing. This area has been designated a national defense area."
Just through the grace of God, nobody didn't get hurt. Because the church right up there, about a half mile.
About a mile of Old Georgetown Road will be closed for an unknown period of time.
Anything man-made can malfunction. So you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it needs to be investigated, and the public need to know what really happened. It shouldn't be kept a secret what happened. Because, it could have been a major disaster.
And we have all of the information.
I want to just drink a bunch of shine and hang out with Randolph
White.
You
know who he sounds like, right? Sounds like R-Truth.
A little bit.
That's I'm just picturing R-Truth. But that squall, that scream, whatever that was,
Wasn't that incredible?
That was amazing.
Can you isolate that? Because I forgot to pull it. But that clip was like it sounded between a scream and a whistle. Like, I cannot imagine.
Yeah, I'd have to guess right now. So
I can't imagine. It's got to just look like a block of audio in there. But he said, I lost it because I can't imagine I used to be that kind of journalist, right? Like they'd send me out with a camera and a microphone.
Well, if the airplane...
They'd send me out with a camera and a mic, and they'd be like, go tell a story and then interview man on the street, like local news. And I hate this. That's why I didn't do it for very long. But there's nothing local news loves more than interviewing the man on the street. They always want to interview some dude or some chick who was like around the thing. Hey, there was a bank robbery down on 4th and 8th. We don't want you to interview the cops. We don't want you to interview the teller. We want you to interview the guy across the street who kind of saw it through the cafe window, right? I couldn't stand it, except if you found this guy, right? Except if you found Randolph White. It was somewhere between a scream and a whistle. Ah! I want to hang out.
You do that pretty
with
well,
forever. Listen, I want to take that guy's scream. I don't know what that is. I want to take that guy's
it's
scream.
You, but I know,
but I don't know from where. I want to take that guy scream, and I'm just going to remix it over the top of a bunch of old AC/DC songs because he nailed it. 72 years old, lives in a house outside of Myrtle Beach in the country, ain't got a neighbor in a mile. And at the beginning, because there's more to the beginning of that where they like set him up, like who this cat is. And he's like, they're like, man, you live out here in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's the middle of nowhere because the anchor guy goes in a very rural piece of South Carolina. And they talk to dude. He's like, I don't want nobody around me. I like my space.
All right.
I was like, I feel you, bro. I do.
There's a part in I'm Still Alive. I hear it now and I hear that over that. I got to try that. I got to see what that's. I'll be playing around with that later.
I love that dude. Randolph White. Randolph, if this audio ever finds, and you know it won't because you know this dude is not listening to podcasts, all right? He's listening to old play-by-play games on an old Victrola radio that still works some. I don't even know what they're called anymore. That's how old they are.
Victrola was like a phonograph, I think.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's listening on an old transistor radio that he repaired in 1964. And Randolph's just drinking some shine out on the front porch. I want to hang out with that dude so bad. I love him. Him and Jesse Bell. No! Amazing human beings. We're back after this to wrap up the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Pearl Jam is what I was talking about.
Pearl Jam.
Yes. For some reason, I couldn't think of Pearl Jam. Maybe it's because I'm the old now. It's the double nickel, and I can't do anything anymore.
Mercer. The Paladins ranked number 7 in the FCS poll this week. Mercer ranked 21st. They're 2-1. 1-2 South Carolina plays host to Mississippi State this week. Clemson's 2-1. They're home this Saturday afternoon against number 4 Florida State. The Panthers get set to visit the Seahawks this Sunday afternoon. Linebacker Shaq Thompson is out indefinitely with an ankle injury. It's the second straight week the Panthers lost a key member.
So I know Big Brother's listening because across my Twitter just came, Alonzo, an advertisement for bacon-flavored toothpaste. And I don't know how I feel about it, to be 100% honest with you.
I don't think so.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know, man. That's just, I mean, it's hard to say no to bacon, but.
There are parts of me that are like.
So is there actual, they put like bacon bits in the toothpaste?
No, it's toothpaste artificially flavored like bacon by a company called Fresh Pig. Here, I'll pull up the Amazon link for it.
Monday night after undergoing precautionary scans for what's believed to be a chest contusion. Pelissero adds the scans were negative, and there's optimism that Patrick will be fine.
There you go. Fresh Pig bacon flavored toothpaste, a fun gift for bacon lovers and coworker secret Santas. Created by a small business owner in the U.S., this bacon flavored toothpaste is meant for laughs. Really tastes and smell like bacon with a small hint of mint. Funny stuff, right? Perfect gag gifts. Would you brush your teeth with it? Maybe not, but the smiles and laughter from getting such a unique gift and giving it a taste, because you can't not, are worth the effort of giving this prank gift. 4 ounces of bacon goodness for the bacon lover in your life. Cool gifts for dad who wants nothing. Funny gifts for boyfriend. Gifts under $10 for that hard to shop for person in your life. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bacon flavored toothpaste. So here's my question. If somebody else on another station in this building is known for wearing his sunglasses every broadcast, does that prevent me from doing the same?
No, but
is it a knockoff if I start wearing these every show?
Also, I think something goes with it. When you see someone doing that, you think, well, what are they trying to hide?
Here's my other question. If I get these in all available 8 colors they come in and I rotate through them based on the outfit, that's cooler, right?
Well, then you'd look like what you normally do because with your real glasses. So
No, I mean if I go sunglasses every day.
No. That would be.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. I only have these in black, white, and blue right now.
I think it takes
red.
away from the stream though, because I mean, people want to see Rob Brown's eyes.
Hello, ladies. Manual sound clip.
All right, let's see if this sound clip works. It is now in the rotation. You know what? If you want to put it in your rotation too, we can dual wield. I mean,
Dual wield. No, that is 100% Alonzo clip. As soon as I heard it, I was like, that one's going Alonzo. That's why I didn't put it in mine. I feel like no is a me clip.
Yeah, those are the sounds I hear in the woods at night sometimes when I get home and it's late and I hurry in the house.
There's someone in your neighborhood making a difference. A realtor, giving their time to good causes, giving food that feeds communities, giving back like a good neighbor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This afternoon, partly cloudy, high of 82. Weather brought to you by Ashley. From minor refreshes to total overhauls, Ashley has the essentials to make your home fall functional and fabulous. Shop in store or visit ashley.com today.
From the Angels Market Studio, the fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
CBS Sports Radio. Now the Rob Brown Show presents.
There it is. I love Randolph White. I want to be his friend.
I got to say, that's going to apply in so many situations. All right, time to ask Rob what the X is going on. All right, the first thing is Kareem Hunt.
Uh-oh. Never good when a player is trending on a Wednesday, but he's not on a team right now yet, is he?
Right. I could have used the breaking glass on this.
Oh, he is signed with, don't tell me, Seattle.
No. Cleveland Browns have re-signed Kareem Hunt.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, they need to. So we talked about this back in the first segment. You weren't here, but I pulled the top 5, the quarterbacks that have been given the top 5 number of seconds before they go under pressure after receiving a snap in the bottom 5. In the bottom 5, the quarterback with the third least amount of time to throw the football before going under pressure, Lonzo, is Bryce Young. The second quarterback under pressure is Derek Carr, and the first is Deshaun Watson. BY getting 1.48 seconds to throw the ball on average. Derek Carr, I'm doing this off the top of my head, like 1.38, and Deshaun Watson getting fewer than 1.1 seconds per snap to get rid of the ball. Kareem Hunt will help with that.
All right, the next thing is X, and I'm going to spell it because I'm not going to say it. It's a hyphenated word. The first is BOO hyphen the letter B.
Boobs?
No.
Boobies?
There's no plural. What have you? Do you live
Just
in?
one booby?
Yeah. Do you live in South Carolina? I mean, you don't have to add an S on the end.
You live in South Carolina? Okay.
No, they add S's to everything, like lawns.
Here's what I'll say. There are a lot of these that I get very.
It was a rap name, but I'm not sure.
There are a lot of these I get very curious about, and I'm like, okay, I can see the danger here, but for the people, I'll go ahead and click on that and see what it looks like. Not this one, especially not with these reflective ass glasses on.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You probably don't want to do that. And finally, the last thing that is Xing is Ezra.
So the most recent episode of Ahsoka has dropped now. I have not watched it yet. I will be watching it today because it is the first show in a year and a half that I'm watching these as they drop. I think the last one was Loki was the last one that I watched as episode
Season
dropped.
2 coming in November.
Yes, it is. I think
it's October. It's October.
Like October 29th or something, 22nd, something like that. I mean this, love this TV show. I love Ahsoka. It is well acted. It is well written. It is well put together. There are storylines that you actually have to, they don't just put it on the screen like Ahsoka sad because. Like, you have to infer and understand and learn, which I think is great. And this means either Ezra has made his appearance or is getting very close to it. But I do understand that Thrawn shows up in this episode finally after all the teasing.
I can neither confirm or deny that any of those things happened.
And I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. That's it for the show. Thank you much for listening. I don't ever want it to go away. No! Y'all have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. For Lonzo, I am Rob Brown. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely rest of your Wednesday. We're back tomorrow.
I'm going to drink a lot of beer tonight, Jim. Budweiser.
On the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah! Here's the fun part about these glasses. As good as they look, Lonzo, they are not prescription, so I can't see anything beyond my computer screen.
Well, at least you can see that far. That helps. By the way, Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I do definitely appreciate it.
Hey, guys. That's going to do it for us. The birthday boy is going to take the rest of the day off and go home and play video games.
No, I'm not. I definitely am not.
You have my permission too if you
want
to.
The boss has already emailed me more work.
Oh, perfect. That means I have some too.
He did say happy birthday on the end of it, though, so that's supposed to make it better.
6 hours of extra overtime.
Yeah, here you go.
Also, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. We had a blast, as always. Back here tomorrow to do it all over again. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.